Oh, happy Sunday. Welcome to the Scoop World Order. Ooh, Notice of Allegations edition. This is going to be a nice one. We're very excited to see you guys. We know a lot of you guys didn't think this day would ever come, but we're here for it. We're very, very excited for it. This is going to be a Sunday to remember. Nevadabuck and I have been waiting for this day. This is going to be a glorious day. The NCAA does not look kindly upon people that are repeat offenders and people that do not cooperate. So this is going to be a very glorious episode, and we're just so excited that all of you guys are here. We are strapped up. Thank you, Treasure of the Torah, for giving the inspiration to get the strap out. Again, I appreciate you guys. If you guys enjoy this content, because tonight is going to be a doozy, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. Again, I appreciate you guys that are on here each and every night. This is a huge show because you guys make it one. This is going to be a monster. They're all monsters at this point in the season. It is game week, getting it ready for the Akron game. But Michigan is about to get hit by the hammer of God, and it's going to be so glorious. And all of you Michigan apologists and all you people like to make love to these Michigan fans, it's going to be a really sad day for you guys because I'm telling you, it's coming. It's going to be ugly. And the Michigan, there's nothing more worthless at this point than the Michigan beat, the Michigan writers. They've been wrong the whole way. We're glad that you guys, all you Michigan fans that are tuning in and listening to us, appreciate you guys for that. All the people that don't really watch anything other than all the stuff that we've broken on Michigan, we appreciate that as well. And to all of our Buckeye supporters, you guys are the absolute best. So we're going to have a great season. This is going to be awesome. But I'm going to get right into it with my good friend at Nevada, glorious Sunday today. This has been, it's football season. There are like 20 football games on yesterday, preseason NFL, regular season. Dagestan Poppy is the GOAT. If you guys like to make money betting MMA, there's nobody like him. So we hit that again last night. So it's been a hot little stretch here for the old Buckeye Scoop squadron. And also shout out to B Moses and Funky. Monster show, 800 people watching leading into our show. We own Sunday nights now, so we appreciate those guys killing it. If you guys get here an hour early, you get to see Funky and B Moses, very entertaining. They had Justin Spear on a couple weeks ago. They'll probably have him back on. But again, can't tell you how excited we are for Funky Buck and B Moses, two rock stars of the future for Buckeye Scoop. But Nevada, where would you like to start tonight?
Well, there was that little NOA thing dropping today. Now, we've been saying, if you've been following Buckeye Scoop, you've been following this podcast, you've been following our Twitter accounts, we've been talking about the hammer incoming. We weren't sure exactly the timing because timing is so hard. It's so hard to get the timing exactly right. But this timing is absolutely delicious. And if you were ever wondering if the NCAA is sending a message to Michigan, look no further than the timing of this dropping in the nose allegation the week before they get their first game of the season. And they dropped this on him. It was just so beautiful. Yeah, it was meant to inflame. It was meant as a message to Michigan. So what's been going on is since the draft notice of allegations gone to Michigan, there's been ongoing discussions between the NCAA and Michigan regarding what would be an appropriate punishment for this, and with all the parties that are involved. And two of the parties, Minter and Klingsfeld, have accepted the punishment. Now they're probably thinking to themselves, we have no defense. We can't come back. We'll take whatever they're going to hit us with, and blah 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 blah. So they've been kind of separated from the case in some sort of an adjudicated fashion. So they've agreed to the punishment. But then you look at, well, what other parties that are left other than that? Well, that leaves Harbaugh. That leaves the university, that leaves Sharon Moore, that leaves basically the whole enchilada is out there. Those guys did not agree with the penalties that the NCAA wants to hit them with. So that's the first thing that you've got to use as your data point right there, that the NCAA is asking for such strident penalties that Michigan didn't want to accept that Sharon Moore didn't want to accept that Jim Harbaugh didn't want to accept that none of the other people want to accept it, because the NCAA is asking for a lot. The NCAA is asking for multiple year postseason ban, vacation of wins from 21, 22, 23, non-recognition of titles won during that time, scholarship reductions, probation, fine, recruiting restrictions, show cause, lack of institutional control. I mean, they're asking for the whole enchilada on this, and they've sent the NOA to these guys today. There was a slight change in the NOA from the draft in that the first notice of the NCAA violations by Michigan has been settled. So now that moved from kind of pending to settled, but that makes Michigan, Harbaugh, Sharon Moore all repeat offenders now. And repeat offenders that's reserved for the harshest penalties. Those are the extreme penalties that the NCAA can handle is for repeat offenders now that are repeat offenders. So there's a few things that you need to kind of put in your mind. You got to say, okay, what does the timing of this tell me? Wow, it sure seems like the NCAA is mad. The NCAA doesn't seem to be happy with Michigan due to the timing. First, there wouldn't be an NOA at all if this thing had just been settled. If this thing had been agreed to, and they've agreed to some sort of administrative responsibilities and some sort of cleanup, there wouldn't have been NOA at all. It would just been they would have announced this settlement. That's the first thing. Second thing is some groups were willing to take the punishment. Other ones thought that it was too much. That should tell you another thing about how the NCAA views this. So you've got a couple of data points right there. The third thing now is that Michigan has none of the information, the details of this have leaked immediately contemporaneous with the filing like they did the first time, which means Michigan knows that it's bad. So Michigan knows that it's bad. The timing's terrible. Michigan couldn't accept the penalties. Michigan is a repeat offender. It's a bad day. It's a bad day for Michigan. So now specifically you're looking at, well, what's going to be in the NOA in Nevada? There's going to talk about, basically it's going to be a detailed treatise on the scheme. It's going to talk about the master spreadsheet. It's going to talk about the people involved. And there were a lot of people involved in this. I mean, it wasn't just Connor Stallions. I mean, it was interns and other staff members and boosters and Uncle T and other people. It's going to go through the entire thing, and it's going to go through a step-by-step thing on how this provided a clear and significant advantage to Michigan on the field. And it literally will go through that. And that lays the basis, that lays the case for why these games have to be vacated. I personally think they should be forfeited, but I think the word that they're going for is vacation. That's why these titles need to be not recognized. That's what you're going to read. You're going to hear that term again. And when you read that, remember Nevada said not recognize. They will not recognize the titles. That's pretty much what I have right now. I got my best source on all things NCAA. The guy's been guiding me through this entire process. Without whom we would not have had any of this information. We'd have not been breaking stories left and right on this for the past 7 months. He sent me a very simple text message. He said, "Michigan is cooked." That's what he wrote. So for you Michigan fans out there, terrible day. For you Ohio State fans out there, or fans of justice and what's right and what's appropriate, and for good overcoming evil, this is a great day. And for all the Michigan beat writers, there's probably not even going to be a second NOA. They're probably just going to send an apology to us, and that's it. And we're going to move on and win another natty. This was a bad day for you guys. This was bad. Michigan knows it's bad. Michigan got it. They got it right on the nose, and they got it the worst possible time that you could ever possibly get something like that, the week before your opener, when all the eyes in the world are now focused on college football. And what is the NCAA throws this thing out there, completely starts to dominate the news cycle right now. This will be the story of Michigan's season right now, is dealing with this. That was on purpose because Michigan tried to obstruct the investigation. They tried to impede it at everything. They tried to encourage people to lie, destroyed evidence, and they were the opposite of exemplary cooperation. And that's going to be noted as well as in the NOA. And like I said, glorious day for justice and for what's right. bad day for all you stupid Michigan fans.
It really is. Yeah, it's interesting because Jesse Minter had a level 1, which is the highest deal, and he's taken some sort of a plea bargain. But he's young. I think he's mid-30s, and there's odds are he's not like Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh's never going to coach in college again. Jesse Minter, there's a shot he could bounce back to college. If he flames out and isn't the defensive coordinator of Jim Harbaugh's dreams, then a lot of these guys, they go where the money takes them. There's faithfuls, there are options, and I would bet a lot of money that Wink Martindale probably thought in a million years he'd never be coaching college football after he's been in the NFL for 20 years. But he's coaching Michigan now, so I think he had to look at the long game because he's going to be coaching for another 30 years or so. But I none of it was surprising. The only thing that was surprising me is how strident Michigan people were that it was going to be a nothing burger. And again, some of the national media people that are just like, this is a nothing burger, and it's like punishing like I forget which analyst it was. If it was Rich Eisen or Mike Greenberg, one of these guys that said, oh, it's like punishing someone, suspending someone from a job that they've already left. And I was like, no, it's not that. I mean, you got to understand, like, the NCAA is going to get a pound of flesh for Jim Harbaugh. If Jim Harbaugh is going to skate, Sharon is going to come out on Michigan, Sharon Moore. They're not guys that you just say, sorry, I'm not going to cooperate. And the way, and his attitude has been amazing. And then Connor Stallions, again, we were reading some of the article from The Athletic where he, he's delusional. He's like the Norman Bates of college football, where he just lives in a different universe, where he's like signed up to be a volunteer coach, and he's like talking back to the superintendent of the district saying, oh, you're scared to meet me, and I'm going to keep working on the install as the defensive coordinator for this high school. And the guy's like, you've never been hired. Like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, I'm in this system. And so, like, this is the level of delusion that we're dealing with it's spectacular. It's like something out of like a Walt Disney movie at this point, where you've got Jim Harbaugh, who's like, I've never lied, I've never cheated. He's like the opposite of Abe Lincoln. And my dad told me to never lie, never cheat, never whatever. I'm not apologizing for anything. And I'm like, dude, like, you're already smoked. Like, you knew exactly what was going on. Your people flipped on you. Because that's the funny thing, is you can act all hard, but like when your recruiting guy flips on you and says, well, Jim Harbaugh told me to go to the line and go over the line and get people to campus during the COVID dead period. So again, if that's your attitude for something as stupid as an unofficial visit, what's your attitude going to be like when it comes to a little Geppetto coming up and saying, hey, I've got a way to pick all their signs. I've got stringers. I've got people that can go to these games. Again, this would never be possible if it wasn't for iPhones, and camera phones, because you can't bring in like a big high-powered camera into a stadium. Most of you guys, you've been to some stadium event, and like, you can't bring in like a camcorder, or you need like a camera phone. And the camera phones are very good. You can get stuff in 4K. Battery life is good and long, so you can sit there and you could tape 3 hours of signals during a game. And again, like this, the more I think about it, the more this really wouldn't be that hard to execute. And you don't need like the CIA to do this. You get a couple of idiots and say, hey, look at the guys look at the other sideline, and look at the guys that are, everybody's in like a red polo, and then there's a guy in like a blue polo, a purple polo, and like an orange polo, and just follow them around and just video everything they do. And then we'll figure out who they are, what their roles are, and we'll kind of calibrate with, okay, this is Keenan Bailey. He's been an intern for 6 years at Ohio State. He's Ryan Day's right-hand guy, so he's probably the main signaler. Okay, and then Justin Fry is probably signaling the O-line protection or running stuff or whatever. And then, the third guy is signaling the near receivers, and this guy's signaling the far receivers. Like, again, like, it's not like rocket science. These guys, again, football coaches, they're not neurosurgeons. So they're, a guy like Connor Stallions is like, well, I'm just a little bit smarter than everybody. But the problem is like when you do it as sloppy as he did, and the paper trails, and the thing that'll be interesting is like who's paying for everything. Because again, we've talked ad nauseam about how to go to like all these games, to go to 60 games or 58 games or whatever, get premium seats. You're probably gonna have to buy 2 tickets, because most premium games you can't just go buy a single. Nobody sells a single ticket down like in AA deck at Ohio Stadium. Like, you buy a pair. So it's going to be fascinating to see all the onions get peeled back because, again, Jim Harbaugh was right in the middle of all this. And again, if you're stupid enough to think that Jim Harbaugh didn't know exactly what was going on and wasn't condoning it and encouraging it, then I don't know what to tell you. You don't pay attention to anything. And you're obviously it's almost to the point where you're impaired because, a head coach who's a control freak. Again, I worked for Urban, ultimate control freak. And again, that's not a bad thing. But Urban Meyer knew what everybody in the organization was doing because he was, he's a psychopath. And again, that is not, people say, oh, Kirk, you're being nasty towards Coach Meyer, but like, that's what he was. He knew what everyone did. Everybody had a job. And, he made me the offensive tackles coach, even though that was nowhere in any directory or in any formal title. But he's like, you are my offensive tackles coach. How they go is how I'm going to evaluate you, the offensive tackles exclusively. And I'm like, okay. Great. So I got to coach Reed Fragel and I got to coach Jack Mehort and I got to coach Taylor Decker and Daryl Baldwin, all these kids. And they all ended up being really good players. So, that was something I was very proud of because they were all really, really good kids and they all had really nice careers. And they all had at least some time in the NFL. So, Jack was a high pick and Taylor's still playing and Reed and Daryl, they were on practice squads and on rosters. I'm just telling you, like, Jim Harbaugh knew what was going on. And between him and Connor Stallions, you have two of the most like delusional people in the world that literally like, you can't believe anything they say. So, when everything gets peeled back and when people start, singing like canaries, then this thing is just going to be like, it's going to be like, the atom bomb basically is going to go off inside the building where they're just like, because there are people that aren't Jim Harbaugh that are associated with this that want to have a career at some point in college football. Jim Harbaugh, he took the golden parachute and flew out to LA and got his, $100 million deal, which again, God bless him. Good for him. He found an organization that was dumb enough to hire him. And everybody that possibly could get out of there, get out of it. Like I told you, when that operations chick left and went to LA, I was like, they know what is coming. I keep saying this. I was like, when you're at an organization who's at the top of the food chain, like Michigan is, who just won a national championship, and everybody is dying to get out of there. Like that girl is taking a pay cut to go from Michigan to LA because she has to pay LA taxes and live in LA. So your quality of life, it's pretty out there and stuff, but she's not going to be making more money out there than she did, in the Midwest. So, but when you know that the nuke is coming and it's about to be real dark and dreary and gloomy around Schembechler Hall, then you got to get out of Dodge, man. But like I said, it's crazy that people didn't think this was coming. I said it a million times. If you don't cooperate with the NCAA and you want to, act hard, it's going to be a really, really quick walk to the gallows, man. I'm just telling you, they're going to hang you. They're going to slice your head off. However you want to be executed, they can do it. Because they hold the power, and everyone that says, "Oh, they have no power left." I was like, well, we'll see. We'll see if they don't have any power. Go watch Arizona State. Again, Jim Harbaugh never wanted to stay there. He hates Ward Manuel. Everybody with a brain knows that, except for the moron Michigan insiders that were saying, "Oh, he's going to sign an extension. He's flying back. Yay!" I'm like, dude, you guys don't even know your own team, and I don't even like your team, but I know more than you guys do. So it's a great Sunday. This has been a great stretch, Nevada. And now we got Ohio State football in like 6 days. Like I don't even know how this could get better. If there was a UFC tonight, maybe it could get better if Poppy was gone. But other than that, I'm about as good as you can go. What are your thoughts if we can start taking some super chats because they are piling up right now?
Yeah, no, I just look the timing on this thing. Dropping this week, dropping it 2 days before the Stallions, sign stealer expose. Look, as you said, Harbaugh's a liar. Everybody knows Harbaugh's a liar. But Harbaugh just got up and said, "I never lie," when everybody in the world knows that he's a liar. That is kind of pathological when you do something like that. So yeah, the environment in which this scheme was kind of going on, I think the NCAA has done a great job of kind of capturing that in this notice of allegations. And I think for Michigan, when this is not public yet, but when this ultimately comes out, I think for even the most strident Michigan fans are going to look at this and kind of go, wow, we just took this too far. But then, the more I read from Michigan fans, the more I hear from Michigan fans, I don't think they really care. I think most Michigan fans now realize that there was cheating, there was lying, there was rule breaking, and they just don't care. They simply don't, they simply lack any kind of a moral compass or any kind of any kind of an idea inside of what's right and wrong that would prevent them from doing this. So I think this was a really easy thing for Connor Stallions to pull off there in an environment where nobody gave a hoot about what was right and wrong. They're just like, look, winning's the only thing that matters. It doesn't matter, how we get there. It doesn't matter how much we cheat. It doesn't matter how many rules we break. And that went for everybody. That went for recruiting coordinators. That went for assistant coaches. I mean, look at how many assistant coaches are coming out of this with suspensions or show causes or penalty. It's like literally every person on the staff. This thing went up and down to every person on the staff. And whether or not they can draw a direct link to Harbaugh, typically in schemes like this, as you're well aware, when this thing got pitched to Harbaugh, Harbaugh's like, stop. Great idea. Jay, go talk to Uncle T, go find the money, whatever it is, whatever that. This is why you're my son, Fredo. I want you to do this, handle this for me, but keep me insulated because I need to, go up here and be able to say that I never knew anything about this, guys. But no, this is best idea ever. 2 thumbs up. Go do your little work. And I think the NCAA really kind of captured the environment inside of Schembechler Hall, the benefit which with the scheme kind of how it worked, how it disadvantaged other teams, why this is on-field cheating of the highest magnitude, and why this lack of cooperation, this stonewalling, this destruction of evidence, why it merits the highest level of punishment. And all those reasons is why Michigan would not go along with what the NCAA wants. That's all the reasons why this NOA hasn't been leaked immediately. If this was nothing, think about it this way: if this was a nothing burger, if this NOA was an apology letter to Michigan, Michigan, we're writing to say we found nothing. We're really, really sorry, and we're sorry for wasting your time. How long do you think it would take Michigan to have leaked this to the press? 5 seconds? This thing would already be on. In the age of instantaneous data transformation and transmission, this thing would already be online. No, this is bad. We always knew it was going to be bad. We've told you the hammer was incoming. We've told you the reasons. We've walked through everything. None of you don't have to guess. No, this is all laid out. It's all laid out in terms of what went on. And I think anybody who's just looking at this objectively can kind of walk this through in their mind and kind of go, wow, 10 coaches are getting that. Jim Harbaugh got a year suspension for Cheeseburger. You got a year suspension for Cheeseburger Gate. And that was the appetite. That was the soup. And now the prime rib just kind of showed up. How bad is this thing? And so, like I said, my final answer on this thing is I don't think Sherrone Moore survives this. I said to you before that Sherrone Moore, when we had talked about this months and months ago, when we did our episode on Sherrone Moore's going to get a show cost, and and people are like, oh, Nevada and Kirk, you're lying for clicks. No, Sherrone Moore's not getting a show cause. We said he's getting a show cause. I don't know exactly what the premise is, but he's getting a show cause. We knew it. We had it. It's happening. I do not think he survives. Michigan football is going to be toast, but I think specifically, I'm calling it right now, Sherrone Moore will not survive this. He will not, as a repeat offender, another level 2. He will get a severe show cause, and Michigan will not be. They will have to sacrifice him to the NCAA gods because remember, Michigan always says on these things, we'll see you in court. We're going to fight this. You don't want the smoke of Tom Mars and the Michigan legal team, and we'll fight this to the end. And then when the time comes, they put their tail between their legs and they throw whomever they can under the bus. They threw Harbaugh under the bus so quick. Then they backed the bus over him and then kept rolling. They're still rolling the bus over him right now. And they're going to do the same thing to Connor Stallions. He's a lunatic. He's a loose cannon. He's a rogue agent. They're going to do it to Sherrone Moore. Sherrone Moore, the willing dupe, is going to there, and he'll take a few $1 million parting gift with them. And for Sherrone, that's a pretty good thing because he's really average. I mean, he's really, really average at his job, and he got promoted above his skis, and now he can always have on his resume that He was a head coach for a few weeks at Michigan, but I'm telling you, he's not going to survive this. This is too much. The weight of the NCAA and the pressure of the NCAA is going to be too much, and Michigan's going into the abyss.
It's like, the more, people like, do you remember, I'm just going to ask you this. Do you remember like they're pushing the Connor Stallions was a lone wolf? Like he was like the only person that knew about it and nobody else knew what he was doing or why he was doing or that it was there. Do you remember that?
They're still pushing that. They're still pushing it. That's gonna be the whole premise of the Netflix thing is that nobody knew what I was doing. I did this in the shadows, and they thought I was just Rain Man, and that I could just pick them up. And I told them I just study them every night, and I study them, and that's all I do. And I was a code breaker in the Navy, and this is what I did. And I broke the Zodiac code, and it's like, no, you were just a Geppetto with an iPhone. That's all that you were. And a willingness to break the and Uncle T bankrolling you so you could go out there and do this, because like you said, this was not a cheap operation. This was not with gas and tickets and lodging and mileage, and this was six figures, easily six figures. But for a Michigan donor, when you've been getting your butt kicked for decades now by Ohio State, and you're like, I can cheat and we can win. Oh, dude, I'll write that check right now. Just line me up. NCAA value, I don't care. We'll deal with that when it comes. You're the toast of the town, Connor. You're the guy. You're the golden child. Well, now he's not the golden child anymore. Now he's just like a lunatic that everybody's going to see on this Netflix documentary, that everybody's seeing on these articles, and Michigan's going to just try to paint him like the biggest. And he is. He's a complete lunatic, but he was not the Lone Ranger in this thing. I mean, this was what's the old thing? It takes a village. It takes a village of idiots, and it was a village of idiots there in Michigan, trying to figure they could pull off this scheme as ham-handed as they did. But now justice prevails, and in the end, that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, like, because realistically, if you're Connor and you know what you're doing, and you can prove you know what you're doing, and you can prove, hey, I've got this cut up of here's the run to the right signals, run to the left signals, here's the, like, when you have all that picked, like, you're going to go tell, Jesse Minter and Sharon Moore, the play callers, hey, I've got it. I'm good. Do you want to run through some of this with me? And here's, run to the right. Okay, we're going to check right to this. Okay, run to the left. Okay, we're going to check to this. Like, I mean, there has to be some sort of a synchronization because, just like everything in football, in football, you go through every scenario in the history of mankind. Like, I mean, like a safety, punt after a safety, a field goal block return. Like, I mean, any stupid thing you can imagine. Like, that's what Ohio State's been doing like this last few days at camp is they go through every stupid scenario that you can imagine. And there's some that you might not see this season or you might not see for 3 seasons, but when they pop up, you got to have like some sort of an idea what to do. So with Connor, when he's picking these things and he's getting them, any amount of money, I would bet he's talking to these coordinators and saying, okay, I've got the signals. I have a good feel on it. Or maybe I don't have a great feel on it, because again, you have to, and again, as accurate as he was with what he was doing, it's not hard to pick signals when you have the information that he had. Again, I picked signals live and it's not terribly hard to do. But if I had what he had, I mean, I would have, from the jump, I would have been cleaning house on the signals. And I think that Connor, when he got all that information, he's, like I said, he had a real job. He was making $50 a year, but he had to probably devote 6 to 10 hours a day to crack everything, to get everything together, to kind of present it to the 2 coordinators that this is what it is, this is what I can do, and then get ready to go for game day. Because it's the one thing I will bet everything on is that, because Nevada and I, we bet on literally everything in the world at this point. We literally, I'm just telling you, he didn't just show up to the game on Saturday and say, hey, I got all the signals picked. Oh, you do? Great. Okay, let's go. No, like those coordinators, again, when they're on an upward trajectory, Sharon Moore is a very young offensive coordinator. Jesse Minter is in his, second year calling the defense. Like their careers are at stake there. So if they call the wrong defense off of Connor Stein screwing the pooch and not having the right signal, and they give something up, then all of a sudden it makes them look terrible. So they had to make sure that stuff was tight. Now, again, if a kid makes a play, if they throw a fade to Marvin Harrison and he dunks on the corner, that's one thing. But like again, we've broken down that running play where he says run to the right, and versus 2 first-round receivers and CJ Stroud, their 2 safeties couldn't have bailed from too deep. They couldn't have ran to the line of scrimmage faster than they did. Like as soon as the ball moved, it wasn't even the quarterback's hands, and they're sprinting to the line, and that's suicide versus Marvin Harrison, Emeka Egbuka, CJ Stroud. You wouldn't do that on 2nd and 9 of all. And so that's how many times I've broken that play down. I know exactly what the down and distance was. I know, and again, against Ryan Day, who throws 70 times a game, it seems like. He loves to throw the ball, especially down in that mid-red area. He is throwing the crap out of the ball, especially on 2nd and 9. So, the fact those safeties just triggered immediately, I was like, oh yeah, we are picked and we are picked. All right, Nevada, we got super chats piling up. Anything before we get rolling?
Well, no, just it's, again, on that play specifically, we talk about a million of those plays. But what's your thought as a fan when you're watching that? Oh, the offensive line sucks. Where's our run blocking?
Sucks. Yeah.
The whole team sucks. Our offensive line did this. Our running back, blah. And it's like, no, they knew. And like you said, they had practiced that a million times. Okay, if I see run right, Jesse, I'm going to say this in your ear, and Jesse, you've got to immediately signal to those guys. And guys, when you get this signal, that means it's a run to the right. You've got to run to the line. You know what I'm saying? Like, this took practice. This wasn't, like you said, they didn't just show up on game day and start wing-dinging it. You know what I'm saying? This was, highly synchronized, highly practiced. And the fruit of this whole thing was Connor Stallions employing, all these interns inside of the Michigan football program that were helping him do this. Like, do you think for a second that this was some sort of closely held secret? Everybody in the whole organization knew what was going on. The players knew. They're pointing up in the air. The interns were part of the thing. The coaches had to do the thing. I mean, this was as wide, reaching a scandal as you could possibly ever have. And the good news is the NCAA realizes that, and the good news is the NCAA is dealing with it, and the NCAA is treating this as the most serious on-field cheating scandal in the history of college football. And I think the timing and the depth and the breadth and everything of the NOA indicates that, and that's why today's such a great day.
Yeah, I'm going to do this again for the people that aren't bright. So here he is, literally right in the ear of the DC. So the DC, he's screaming it because he's got double earmuffs on. So he's literally screaming it to him. He's saying, "Hey, double earmuffs." So he's screaming it so he can hear it. So again, it's not some accident that he's right behind the DC, screaming out what's going on, and then he's literally changing it immediately. So again, this isn't some far-fetched, oh, Kirk, what are you doing type thing. This is literally, and again, the glorious thing is, the tape doesn't lie. And so, they're picking our signals. Again, they've got these boards up. They put those boards up so the people behind them in the press box can't pick the signals. That's like where I sit, and that's where Michigan's, they've got their, 10 guys up in the box. Those guys can't get them, but these guys over here can get them. You can't stop the guys from looking across the sideline because it's not like you can put the signs in front of them because these guys are all getting the signals. The O-line's getting the signals from Justin Fry. These guys are looking back at, everyone's getting their signals. So again, versus, you've got Julian Fleming, who's, good player, not a great player, but a good player. You got him, you've got Mecca, you've got Marvin, who, Marvin should have won the Blitnikoff 2 years in a row. If he would actually promote him, he probably would have. But he didn't win it 2 years ago, won it last year. And again, this is 2nd and 9. Again, I still remember this. So we got stopped, for a short gain, 1 yard. So if you're betting at home and you're like, okay, Ryan Day just had a 1 yard play. I don't know if it was a run or whatever it was. What are the odds that Ryan Day is going to throw it on 2nd and 9, especially from here? Because this isn't exactly some, punch it in from the 3 yard line. This is, you got a lot of yardage to get here. You got to get 9 yards to get the first down, but this is you got enough space here to throw it. And especially like if I've got Marvin and Emeka and Cade, I'm absolutely throwing it. Like, you got to be crazy to not throw it. So for these safeties, I mean, the ball is snapped. I mean, the ball, like he's triggering before the ball's even snapped. And I mean, sprinting to the line. So you're going to leave him one up against Ryan Day, who's Mr. Pass on 2nd and 9. And they magically guess it is our counterplay. And look how many guys are there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This guy's a free hitter. I mean, we don't have enough guys to block it. So of course he gets stuffed and looks terrible. Where it's like, if Marvin runs basically anything, it's donezo. But Marvin, I don't know. Like I mean, if Marvin runs a slant, like there's an entire field for him to throw the ball to. But anyone in the history of mankind, when you're playing Marvin Harrison, you're not going to leave him one up versus anybody with all this space versus CJ Stroud, who's like the NFL MVP preseason,
Kirk, here's the thing. You might blitz, but you're going to blitz CJ. You're not run blitzing to the right. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Like, these guys were all that's the thing. I mean, it's one thing to blitz and leave Marvin on an island, but you don't run blitz to the right with Marvin Harrison out there. You might be blitzing CJ Stroud and bringing the house, but you're not. I mean, look where they're running. That guy is triggering he's triggering to the right side of the line. I mean, it's insane.
No, yeah, like I said, again, I'm not going to go into the James Franklin thing, but the coaches know when they're being picked like that. And again, James Franklin, I'll find the clip. I'll post it on BuckeyeScoop.com where he talks about being in heavy personnel. They're in 13. They got 3 tight ends in the game. And they just happen. And it's like 4th and 1. And everything in the world says that they're going to try to run it and get 1 yard to convert. And they decide to take a shot. And they happen to be in 2 deep safeties. They happen to be in the exact call. There's nothing in the universe against 3 tight ends that you'd ever play 2 high safeties ever, unless you know the play. So I mean, James Franklin already said that in his press conference. And he's like, I don't know what we ever could have done in our history to think that we'd take a shot in that situation from that personnel group, but they somehow knew that we were taking a shot. So. Again, so it's not just Ohio State people. Like there are a lot of universities, athletic directors, and coaches that are very happy about today. All right, let's get into some of these super chats. Again, appreciate you guys. Shot clock Todd, thank you for the 5. Nevada, how soon does the notice of allegations leak to us all? What are your thoughts, Nevada?
We've already leaked it, dude. I think I don't know. Like I said, from the NCAA likes to do things the right way, and for Michigan they'll try to leak excerpts or whatever it is. But this is bad for them. This is bad. There's no way to spin it. But whenever that's this many people, this many lawyers, this many affected people, ex-assistant coaches, people that moved on, have their hand on a document that they can take a screen grab with their phone or whatever it is, then put it into the internet under an anonymous Twitter account or whatever. Yeah, I would think that it would be fairly shortly, but I don't know. Like I said, I've got a pretty good idea of what's in it already. I think we've talked already about a pretty good idea of what's in it, but I would like to see the actual document and not just have stuff read to me. So hopefully soon. Let's say that's the answer. Hopefully soon.
Yeah, it'll leak. There's no doubt. Ryan Coolidge, thanks for the 20. Hope you're good, my friend. Happy Sunday. Thank you guys for the show. It's always a highlight of my day to sit down and unwind with you guys. Appreciate that. Scum is going down, delusional fan base and program. Glorious time to be a Buckeye, isn't it always? Yes, it is. It is always a glorious time to be a Buckeye. But this year is especially glorious because with shot and fraud, where you like to see the pain of your enemy, this is going to be a great time. And with the team we have this year, the schedule we have this year, the fact that, we have the #1 podcast and we have the #1 community and we have the best website and all this, like this is like a supernova of great at this point. We're so excited about having you guys on here every night. Again, this is a huge show because you guys make it one. So thank you. We don't take that for granted. We know that, I get texts and phone calls and emails and private messages and everything about people that are just like, Kirk, I can't wait to get to 7 every day so I can relax. laugh a little bit, have some fun, learn some stuff, talk some football, ask questions. And so we take that seriously. Like, again, we love doing the show. It's the highlight of Nevada and I's day. And like, I'm not just saying that. Like, again, Nevada knows I wear him out because I call him 20 times a day about, okay, let's talk about this, talk about this. What do you think about this? Like, we build the show all day. Some days are easier to build than others. Like today was obviously, it was about as great of a lead in as we could ever get. But we love doing this show and we appreciate you guys. We don't take you guys for granted, which is why we go on Christmas Day, New Year's Eve. Like, I mean, it's crazy. We take a couple days off a year when, we're exhausted. But I mean, even the day my son was born, I told Nevada, and Nevada's like, you're crazy. But I was like, Kim's like, you got to go do the show. And I was like, seriously? And she's like, yeah, you got to keep your foot on their throats. And I was like, that's why you're my girl. Love you, babe. But she, that's her mentality. She's like, she's a beast. Our kids have been doing great. Our 3 kids are awesome. They've been great. The house has been awesome. So, we love to, get the show going though. So, and we appreciate you guys. Nevada, Ryan Coolidge, thank you, for the 20. Appreciate you. He says, happy Sunday. Thank you guys for the show. It's always a highlight of my day to sit down and unwind with you guys. Scum is going down. Delusional fan base and program. A glorious time to be a Buckeye. Isn't it always? Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I mean, look, we're heading into, if this Michigan stuff never existed, just forget the Michigan stuff for a second, put it aside. This is the most excited I've ever been about a college football season. I want to see this team. I want to see this truly great Ohio State team, this truly great staff operating. We're going to get a chance to see college football at the highest level, and there weren't Ohio State uniforms this year. I mean, it's such a blessing that we got all these guys back. We've never had a group of guys back like this. Thanks to NIL and some of the rule changes, one of the positive benefits of it. So that alone would be great. But the fact that Michigan, shameless cheaters, are getting justice just makes me feel great. So yeah, it's almost a perfect week. And the fact that the NCAA dropped it tonight or today or this weekend was just absolutely delicious. And the irony of the whole thing, where Michigan, they want to play the obstruction game and they want to play the the non-cooperation game, and the NCAA's like, well, two people can play that, and I do love it so. But yeah, I'm super excited about everything going around in college football, and it's a great time to be an Ohio State fan.
Yeah, I think this is going to be like I said, the NCAA is petty and punitive, man, and it's just like I love how they roll, and like I said, they knew the Stallions thing was going to come out, so they're like, well, let's drop it on a Sunday so they don't get the whole week of news cycle. They don't drop it on a Friday afternoon; they drop it on a Sunday night, so that it'll be the talk of the shows tomorrow. Let's make sure that Sharon Moore let's do it before his press conference, because I don't know if he goes on Monday or Tuesday, but most coaches either go Monday or Tuesday, and they meet with the media and talk it out, and he'll have a nice bevy of reporters there sitting there asking him dumb questions. I'm sure that he'll not respond to any, just because that's what normally happens at these. I mean, the press conferences are so bad anymore that I can't even believe that. It's grass growing and paint drying combined is like a million times more exhilarating.
But Kirk, that's the thing. Do you think the Michigan beat those guys sitting there braying at him? They're going to just ask him anything?
Well, I don't know if a national guy would come in and want to ask, like if 40 or one of these guys would show up and ask, like one of the guys who's not one of the fair-haired children like Pete Thamel, if one of those guys would fly and ask. Because again, when Truss was going through it, man, we had national guys coming in, and we had some guys that were like hammering him, or they're trying to. Truss had deflected because he's made a tough one, but I'm just telling you, there might be a national guy who shows up to this, and again, he might burn the miles up just to fly and hear Sharon Moore say, I'm not going to speak on any pending investigation, and I can't wait for the results to come out, because that's what it is. It's like I listen to some of this stuff, man, and it's like, if you ask a player who's standing out, they say, oh, we're all standing out, we're all working hard, we're all grinding, we're all going to do great. Well, who do you think's really made improvement during training camp? Oh, we're all getting better, we're all improving. I'm just like, oh my God, people actually listen to this stuff. But it's like, that's just that's where we are in society. Because like, I know one thing, when I used to do those press conferences, man, I was like, I have got to give these guys something. They can't just show up and get this pablum and this mealy mouth garbage that they coach, because they used to coach me up. They coached all the guys up. They bring in this PR firm and teach you how to speak to the media. And I didn't listen to any of it because I was like, I can't stand boring. I can't stand people like, when people show up to watch this show, like I want them to learn something, I want them to laugh a little bit, I want them to be entertained. And that's the power of this thing. It's not just boring babble, because I can't. Like if I can't listen to it, then I don't expect any of you guys to listen to it. But I appreciate you guys. Tyler Kersey, thanks for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. Kirk in Nevada. Now this is out, the possibility, but what would you think if Michigan did receive the death penalty as a program in OH, Nevada? Oh, I don't think that's on the table. I wish it was on the table. I wish that we'd heard something about death penalty, but we're accurate with what we report, and Nevada's sources is impeccable at this point. So, Nevada, I'll swing this to you. If they got the death penalty, I wouldn't stop laughing probably till I died, which I've got like probably 70 years left to go, so I got a long time to laugh. But I'd be laughing so hard, like I don't even know what I'd do. I mean, I don't know. I would just laugh until I get to the next UFC fight with Dagestan Poppy, and I'd place my bet, and then I'd win, and I'd keep laughing even harder, and then I don't even know what I'd do. I'd be so deliriously happy if they got the death penalty. But Nevada, what would you do? Again, Tyler, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for the 5. He says, what's the possibility you think Michigan did receive the death penalty or could receive the death penalty? What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, the real possibility is 0 because the NCAA is not going to ever issue the death penalty. But if there ever was a case that screamed for the death penalty, it would be one that would involve a team that was just like unrepentant, a team that destroyed evidence, that obstructed the investigation, a team that was already on probation, a repeat offender, and the offenses would have to go right to the heart of that, like right to competitive. This couldn't be benefits to players already on the team, or even benefits to potential players that might have signed or might not. It would have to go right to wins and losses on the field, bribing the referees, hacking the helmet communications or something like that. And again, and I've used that example before. What Connor Stallions did would be absolutely no different than if you hired hackers to tap in and listen to the communications between Chip Kelly and Will Howard on the helmet thing, and communicate that to your defensive coordinator in real time. It's no different. It's exactly the same thing. And people say, "Oh, that could never happen." Oh, it could happen. It could absolutely happen. And so, no, if this is not a death penalty case, the NCAA, I don't believe they'll ever do the death penalty again for a football program. But boy, if there ever was one that screamed for it, it's the Michigan one. And yeah, I would laugh, and I would like to say that there's like a part of me that'd be sad for Michigan fans, but I'm going to be really, because we try to value honesty on the show. There is not 1 ounce of me that would be sad for any Michigan fan if the Michigan program got completely flushed into the toilet, because they are the worst fans. They're the dumbest fans. They're the worst fans in all of college football. And not enough bad things can happen to those guys, as far as I'm concerned. And so, like I said, yes, it is a death penalty case, but no, they will not get the death penalty. That's not on the table.
Yeah, like I hate Michigan. Again, by the way, this is going to be a plug. We got Chris Carter coming on tomorrow, so you guys better buckle up because we're going to have the best receiver in Ohio State history on the show. Chris hates Michigan. Like CC hate. Like we did like a little 40-minute prep show, or me and him were just talking on the phone about what we want to talk about. He hates Michigan, and it's very, very clear. He does not make love to Michigan fans. He's not an apologist. I mean, that's just not his thing. Like there's some of these people that are just like, oh, I love Michigan. I don't get it. Like, do you see how these people act? Do you see how they've acted the last 3 years? How big of douchebags they are? I'm like, and you want to be friends with that? Like, you got to check yourself sometimes. Poohbeard12, what is up, brother? Appreciate you, my man. Thank you for the 10. Thanks for being on here all the time. Thank you for being awesome on BuckeyeScoop.com. Poohbeard is one of the people that joined BuckeyeScoop.com from the podcast, and he is absolutely hilarious. And he's awesome on the message board, so I appreciate you, bro. What negotiating power does Scum even have? They don't they just have to accept the pain? P.S. In my opinion, not cooperating likely helped them because this goes deeper than we know, and the full picture is more damning. Well, I could buy that. I mean, I think that if they fully cooperated and they saw how deep this thing went, it's bad. But I also, on the flip, like not cooperating is in a case like this, man. It's like when everybody's just like, you know what, we're just not going to talk. It's like, well, I don't think that helps you. I really don't. And again, like teams that have given like exemplary cooperation have gotten smashed. Like we keep talking about Arizona State, smashed at the Herm Edwards era with Antonio Pierce and all that. Like it was a disaster. But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff that I'm sure that they're going to find out because again, you got to remember in the first notice of allegations where they said that Sharon Moore deleted 52 text messages and they were able to, after he deleted them with like forensics, they're able to find him, get him. So what else have they found? Like specifically, what have they found on Michigan servers? What have they found? And that's like just the stuff where you'd have to dig a little bit. Obviously, you can get Connor Stalions' Ticketmaster or StubHub account or whatever and dig through that, see who the stuff was transferred to. Did the people that transferred stuff, like what were their roles? Were they coaches? Were they trying to get into coaching? What did other interns know? Like there's a lot of layers to this thing. And that's the thing is like I've sat in every football building has like an intern hut where it's like usually it's the two GAs and then there's like 8 or 10 interns in there. We had our own office. We had the defensive guys were in there sometimes, but mostly it was the offensive guys. But we'd all be in this office, and it's like it's just like a big brainstorming thing, talking football, talking ball, like talking about what we want to do, what we do. Because all these young guys are fantasizing about what would they do if they were a coordinator or a position coach or a head coach or whatever. So like when these guys were on to Connor Stalions and him figuring out how how to crack these codes, and I bet everything I had, these guys were saying, teach me. Show me how you do it. Let me help you. Maybe because again, when you get, if you want to do this in in a really efficient way, get 5 or 6 guys together and say, okay, hey guys, we're gonna break these signals together. Okay, so let's everybody get your little notepad out and let's try to figure out who does what, who's signaling what, who's doing the formations, who's signaling to which position group. Take your notes and let's compare everything and let's see how it all shakes down. Because that's the quickest way you could figure it out. Because if it's just one guy trying to figure it all out, it take a long time. But if you got a little crew doing it, all together, watching the film, everything's spliced together, that's the way you do it with maximum efficiency. Because you have to remember, like, once you get into game weeks, man, everything is fast. And I mean, Connor's getting these signals on Saturday night, and he's cracking them on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. And I'm sure he's got his little crew in there, and they're probably working till 3 a.m. and sleeping in the office. And I know the mindset of the young, poor, grinding coach who's trying to make it. And these guys will do anything to make it because, again, they don't want to go back to the hometown. They don't want to coach high school. They don't want to coach. They're trying to make it in the Big Ten and have Jim Harbaugh recognize them. And, when there's an opening, again, if you're good enough as a GA and there's an opening, if you're good enough, then you could get promoted. I mean, Ryan dated it with Corey Dennis and Parker Fleming. He made those guys full-time coaches. I mean, neither of them worked out, and again, for whatever reason. But Michigan has got a big-time culture of promoting from within. Like their line coach was like a GA, promoted it to tight ends coach. Now he's line coach. They've got a culture like Jim Harbaugh likes to promote his guys from within. So you get these little Geppettos in there, and they're all cracking these signals and. And again, I think that Connor's little manifesto fantasy was that when one of us makes it, we'll hire the rest of us and we'll have our own little Geppetto coaching staff leading the Wolverines one day. So again, that's what'll be fascinating is how many people knew, what did they know? And what were they able to find, when Connor Stalions flees the building with his, little 5 terabyte hard drives under each arm. It's just like, what's on that, Connor? But again, I love it. Nevada, Pooh Beard, again, thanks for the 10 appreciation, man. What negotiating power does Michigan even have? Don't they have to accept the pain? P.S. In my opinion, not cooperating likely helped them because it goes deeper than we know, and the full picture is more damning. What are your thoughts?
Well, first of all, you have to remember, it's not like the NCAA has this, army of NCAA investigators or police that do this. The NCAA is a organization that the premise is that it's self-policing. It's like when you play golf. You don't have like golf police running out there calling strokes on you or penalties. Like it's on an honor system. Like you're supposed to go out there and call your own penalties. And that's what NCAA, like the basic tenet of the NCAA is you got to call your own penalties. You got to call your own balls and strikes. You got to go, and only when there's a dispute or when you're not willing to do that will the NCAA step in and try to make things right. And so for Michigan, to me, it wasn't about full disclosure. They didn't need to go on and full disclose everything, but they needed to cooperate, and that meant they needed to identify some of the evildoers, throw them to the NCAA, fire some people, correct the behavior, do it, show some contrition, even if it was false contrition, do something. Instead, they flipped off the NCAA, and now they're all, oh, how could the NCAA drop this on this Sunday? And this is so wrong. And Michigan has tried to make themselves a victim through this entire thing. They're trying again. They're playing the victim card. We're a victim of evil Connor Stallions, and then it's going to flip. What I'm telling you, this is like we're a victim of evil Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh did this, and this is why we couldn't keep him around, and this is why we couldn't support him, and this is why we couldn't extend him. It's kind of textbook, but no, Michigan needed to cooperate. That's why they passed that legislation that lauds exemplary cooperation and actually reduces penalties when you cooperate. It's literally called inside the NCAA. It's called the Michigan Rule. It is literally called the Michigan Rule because they want to draw a bright line between cooperators and non-cooperators. And cooperators, they may get severe penalties, but they're not as bad as they could have been. And then non-cooperators, they get everything, and that's what Michigan's going to get. Michigan's going to get everything. Mark that down. Hold me to it. And he's going to say, "Oh, Nevada, I know I'm right on this one. I'm not guessing." And it's I don't think they had any good. This is kind of the Kobayashi Maru for them. They didn't really have a good play, but I think a better play would have been cooperating because I think they could have mitigated some of this. But they chose the other path, and they chose poorly.
Chris Blunt, thank you for the 5. Appreciate you, my man. Bring out the hammer. Yes, the hammer is going to come out. We're going to make hammer t-shirts. I can't wait for that. My mom is a Michigan fan. Oh, man. Oof. Rough. I've had to watch her celebrate for 3 years. I was a CJ fan when he was behind Justin. Robbed him of everything. Yeah, I mean, they did. I mean, like I told you, CJ, outside of, Ryan Day, I mean, CJ would have won 2 Heismans if he had beat Michigan because he would have gone on to beat Northwestern or Purdue or Iowa or whatever turds they played in the Big Ten title game, and he'd have won 2 Heismans. I mean, that's how good he was. So CJ lost a lot in this thing. But again, Ryan Day, these players get beat to death in this town when they lose to Michigan. Again, I lost in 2003 as a freshman, but I didn't play in the game. I didn't even travel to the game. So I was on the team. So, I mean, I guess that counts as a loss. But when they think so little of you because you're redshirting that they don't even bust you to Ann Arbor, I guess that's a loss. But, it's kind of like being in the minor leagues. Like, if the Yankees lead the World Series, but you're in AAA, like, do you really count that as a loss? I guess you do. But I don't know. Like I feel bad for the players and the families and careers change. I mean, the course of Jim Harbaugh's life changed because of this cheating. I mean, Jim Harbaugh was not some fair-haired child going to the NFL. I mean, he interviewed with Ziggy Wolf and with Minnesota, and then he interviewed with Denver, and they both turned him down. Because again, he doesn't exactly have like the most sterling relationship, and he burns bridges everywhere he goes. This is kind of how he is. Like he's like a dragon. Like he flies around and burns everything up. And people think it's great when he shows up, and then all of a sudden when he burns the bridges down, and like San Francisco couldn't stand him, Michigan couldn't stand him by the end. And again, like that's the crazy one. It's like, dude, that's your alma mater. And you just won a national championship, and like they didn't want to extend you without putting in pretty gruesome language that, hey, if you agree to sign this and the show cause shows up and the suspension shows up, then, your contract is basically void and none of your money's guaranteed. So it's pretty heavy stuff. Nevada, Chris Blunt again next for the 5. He says, "Bring out the hammer. My mom is a Michigan fan. I've had to watch her celebrate for 3 years. I was a CJ Stroud fan when he was behind Justin Fields, and it robbed him of everything. What are your thoughts?"
Yeah, no, I mean, look, Ryan Day's on the hot seat right now. Ryan Day's entire career is on the hot seat right now, primarily on the strength of 3 losses to Michigan. And in those 3 games, well, at least we know in 2 of the 3 games, Michigan was blatantly cheating. So is that fair? I mean, I don't know. I'm sure Ryan Day doesn't feel like it's fair, and I'm sure Look, C.J. Stroud is going to make a lot of money. He's going to be the richest player ever in the history of the NFL. So he did okay, but yeah, he could have been a double Heisman winner. He'll never make it to the Heisman house. We'll never see any C.J. Stroud clever commercials with him and Charles Woodson and a Wolverine in a box or anything like that. But nah, I just think, look, it's just not right. Cheating, you know, if you cheat, there are penalties that go along with the cheating. And we didn't like it when it happened with Tressel. I would contend that cheating, contending that players that are already on your roster, already on your team, are getting some benefits for getting rid of, selling, trading, whatever, their own stuff, does not even weigh on the same Richter scale as what these guys did. But look, there's a punishment that kind of goes along with everything, and I'm just glad that it's come. I'm glad. I mean, if you look at it, the NCAA has moved with light speed on this thing. Sometimes these things, we've talked about these things taking years. I mean, it's only been like 9 months since disclosure of this whole thing to this NOA, being filed. So I think the NCAA's dealt with this really quickly, and I think that they recognize that legacies have been impacted. That's why they got involved in going to the Big Ten. That never happened before in the history of college, where they went in the middle of an active investigation and notified them, because they knew that legacies and jobs and other things were on the line, and they needed to let people know about it in real time. That's how serious and how unprecedented this whole scandal was, and I think the NCAA realizes that.
Totally agree. Josh Ribideau, this is the first time I ever got this. Thanks for the 5. Kirk, please put the belt and the shades back on. Gotta troll these while they're his. It's funny, I like water. I was calling them smooth brains earlier. So, belt, the strap comes back on. This thing is heavy. And this thing is really heavy, this strap. This is the old UFC belt that they should never have gotten rid of, but this thing is nasty. I love this thing so much. But yeah, the shades had to start off on, because this is like one of those days where the future for Ohio State is so bright that we got to wear our shades. The future for Michigan, I mean, I can't even see their future. You probably got to get LASIK or something. So, but I appreciate you, man. Thank you for that. Nevada, you don't really have a comment for that, I don't think. But I know that a lot of times when you see these shades, it's going to be an interesting episode. But this one is a little bit more fun than that. You're just like, oh man, Kirk's been in the bag again, boy. No. I gotta carry. You're like, oh no, Kirk. It's another one of them Sundays. But no, it's no, today was good, man. I got good workout in and stuff, but you're like, oh god, Kirk, you're peeling off the floor in the middle of the show.
It's funny, David, it's true.
It is just like, oh god, Kirk, I gotta carry you through this one real quick. You're gonna be talking for like 15 minutes at a time to get us an hour. Oh, David Finteric, thank you for the 20. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for being an ultra member as well. Hey guys, happy game week. I want to shout out Bob, call me Googs, Gugliotta, who joins the chat, for being inducted into the Austintown Fitch High School Hall of Fame Friday. That's awesome. Congrats, Googs. I'm not sure what you, if you were a player or a coach or a contributor, but whatever role you had, that is awesome. And thank you, David. I appreciate you, man. Googs, you're awesome. You're always on here. And you're also on Buckeye Scoop, another conversion from the show to Buckeye Scoop. Took the leap, and he's awesome on Buckeye Scoop. So congrats, Googs. That's awesome. Nevada, you have anything to say to Googs?
Yeah, I that stuff like that is so great, and what a great honor. Enjoy the day, and that's fantastic stuff. And yeah, I have noticed you on. I love people that come from the podcast and come over to the website that are always noticeable. I think they're kind of like, wow, I can't believe this is like the podcast, but 24 hours a day. And
exactly.
They're on there. But yeah, no, I just, like I said, I just really appreciate you guys. And big time congratulations and enjoy your evening on that.
Yeah, and I mean, literally, it's like $12.99 a month, which that's literally like a large fry at Five Guys now. So I mean, it's like it's cheaper. It's the only thing that hasn't been adjusted in the entire universe with inflation is Buckeye Scoop. We haven't raised our prices at all, and it's been awesome. And we try to take care of our folks, but it is a melting pot of hilarity, and I love the message board. It's my first love. As much as I love podcasting, the message board is our home. So we love that. But congrats to that, Googs. Appreciate you, my man. Nevada, are you in your high school Hall of Fame?
No. I'm in the Southern Nevada Sports Hall of Fame, but I'm not in the. I'm not. I didn't do much in high school. I wasn't a great athlete in high school. I was just kind of. I was a guy. I was a jag. I was a jag in high school, and so just like did everything kind of okay, but nothing. I wasn't like some Division I. Athlete like Kirk Barton or something like the Tree in the Grove. Are you in your high school Hall of Fame?
No, I'm in the Stark County Hall of Fame. It's weird. I'm in my county Hall of Fame, but I'm not in my high school Hall of Fame. No one ever nominated me. I was like, so it's kind of funny. I was like, that kind of supersedes it, but again, I don't care. I think it's hilarious.
No.
West Coast, Florida. Thanks for the 10. Appreciate you, my friend. What would you say to Michigan fans who love to say Charlie Baker said we won it fair and square? Does he have to sign off on a notice of allegation? If so, doesn't that in itself prove that he does not believe that? I always think that was taken out of context, like completely, I believe. Again, I don't remember the context of it, but I remember when I read it and then people recited it.
No. Hold on. Let me give you the context. The context, Charlie Baker was actually defending their decision to notify the Big Ten about this cheating scandal in real time. And that was the question. And what he said was, we wanted to do that so that they could take punishment, they could take a thing, and then Michigan could go on and win the title fair and square. He wasn't talking about what's going to happen with the penalties. He was talking about just solely in terms of that they could notify future opponents about what was going on. They could deal with the evildoer, Jim Harbaugh, give him that suspension, and then Michigan could go on in terms of playing. So, no, he was not exonerating Michigan. He was not clearing Michigan. And it was an inelegant comment. And that comment did not go over well in the NCAA offices. The NCAA offices, especially on the infraction side, they were like, what the hell? And he's like, I misspoke. I was taken out of context. So, no, all you can say for Michigan fans is like hope is a good thing. What they say, hope is a good thing. Sometimes it's the best thing or whatever it is. Well, that's all they have right now. All they have is, well, Charlie Baker said we won fair and square. And so if Charlie Baker said you won fair and square, why did you just get a second notice of allegations, guys? So you have to follow the logic train on this, Michigan fans, and realize I know that's a sound bite, and I know that sounds good, and maybe that helps you sleep at night the last few months, but that ain't gonna save you now, man. It's over. The party's over. The confetti's on the ground. The lights are coming up, and some big old dude bouncer is coming to you, handing you the bill, and you got to pull out your credit card and you got to pay it. And but the party's over.
Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah, I knew you'd remember the context better than I did, but I just knew that when he said that, for one, it was stupid. And again, people say stupid things sometimes. And again, he said, we let the thing run the course, whatever, but that's not the end. That's not what really matters at this point.
No,
it really isn't. I mean, just because one guy says something stupid when there's a microphone in his face doesn't mean that that's like the be all end all. But that's what they've clung to. That's been like their. I mean, I'm surprised that instead of those who say we'll be champions, they didn't just like paint over it and say they won it fair and square. Charlie Baker, Charlie Hustle. It's like those who say we'll be champions. Actually, they won it fair and square. NCAA guy, Charlie Baker. NCAA soundbite genius.
Charlie Babbitt. Charlie Babbitt said we won fair and square.
Charlie Daniels.
Charlie Daniels.
All right. Jared Adel, the king of Chillicothe. What is up, brother? The Catalina wine mixer. Thank you for the 10. Appreciate you, my friend. What's great now is the longer they take to accept their punishment, the more the pressure builds. Also, will a third investigation be opened up for the Weiss computer hacking? Nevada, I'll let you go first on this one.
one, I could not agree more. I love it dragging. That's why when people are asking me about the timing, they're like, Nevada, what's the time? I'm like, man, let it drag out as long as possible. I mean, I'm not saying I'm sad that it came this quickly, but if it would have drug out, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. But no, I think the timing on this has been great. But let it drag out as long as it possibly can, because that does not help Michigan. It doesn't. I mean, it's already this article is, or this, the fact that it's come out has already created uncertainty within Michigan. I mean, this is bad. This is the sort of Damocles hanging over the head of the program, and that type of uncertainty. Every school in the country is going to be selling this against them, against future recruits, against current guys on their roster, and it's going to create a giant distraction for an already new staff. So none of this is good. Now, the second part. What was the second? The second part of the question was that I love the second part of the question as well.
Also, will a third investigation be opened up
Yes.
for the
Yes.
Weiss computer hacking? Yes.
Yeah. Well, first, I would expect that there's going to be there is a group that's digging. We've kind of talked about this stuff before, like when the Athletic was digging and they were doing this expose on Michigan football. We alluded to stuff about Michigan hockey, which we also put on our website, the Michigan basketball stuff. We talked about the pressure kind of building an award manual. There is a group that is digging on some disclosure items on the Weiss computer stuff. I absolutely believe that will be the third investigation. I absolutely believe that there could be a fourth investigation of Michigan, because you've got hacking and then you've got gambling. So I really think that there's two more aspects of this thing that are literally in their infancy stages, because they haven't really even hit the NCAA yet. The NCAA has been briefed in on them, but the NCAA hasn't started active investigations. But I think that's punch 3 and punch 4 for Michigan coming down the road.
Totally agree. Ops Check, thank you for the deuce. Appreciate you, brother. As always, Ops Check is awesome on our board. Oh, here we go, Nevada. Michael Holson, thanks for the 5. Nevada, winter is here, baby. Ooh, I love that.
Winter is here. Winter, we were saying winter is coming. Buckle up. We're doing it. And like Michigan's like, oh yeah, Nevada, it's not coming. They're gonna apologize. And then it's like, no, winter's here. Now you look out and it's all snowy. It's all dark. The White Walkers are coming over the hills or something like that. And you have no dragon glass. You got nothing. But Charlie Baker said that we're going to be okay. We won fair and square. Charlie Baker's going to save us. You expect Charlie Baker to come flying in on a dragon and it's like get rid of the White Walkers. But no, Charlie Baker isn't going to save you guys. I'm sorry.
I remember when I convinced you to watch Game of Thrones. It's like, I think you'd really like it. And you're like, I'll give it a shot.
Yeah.
And then you got into it and you're like, oh, winter is coming. That was our like quote for like 4 years, like since 21, like winter is coming.
I love it.
And when winter came, it was a lovely, lovely day. When winter came for our enemies.
Glorious day. Glorious day.
That was, oh God. That was next to getting my tree and my kids being born. Chocolate Chip Scoochie, thanks for the deuce. Appreciate you, my friend. There's video. Archery. Archery, our UFC picks. Done.
Exactly.
Chocolate Chip Scoochie, thanks for the deuce. There's video of Hutchinson covering his ear holes, too. I have not seen that. I assume you mean Aiden Hutchinson. I don't know what that would be in regards to. Nevada, do you have any thoughts? That would have been... Good.
I mean, I'm assuming he's talking about somehow they're communicating stuff to him and either by signal or by whatever. I haven't seen that. Wouldn't surprise me. I mean, this scandal's in full effect in 2021. I mean, you've got Uncle T gloating on the message board about this stuff. Like he literally is posting publicly stuff over there about this plan that they came up with and how it worked perfectly and what a success it was. I mean, they're literally talking about the cheating scandal on social media. And so the fact that Hutchinson would have been somehow clued in it, I have zero doubt that's true. I just haven't seen it, but I would love to see it.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, so if you have that text us at Chocolate Chip Scoochie, or you can send it to buckeyescoop@gmail.com or send it to our Twitter account, DM it. So I appreciate it. Or if you're on the board, throw it on there. Jay Willie
Hold,
75.
hold on,
Go ahead.
hold on before you go. I just gotta say we had a guy come to the board the other day on BuckeyeScoop.com in the introductions page, which is like the free page, and he posts this entire thing. Just want to say I'm a Michigan thing, and I work at Michigan, and the lid's gonna blow off this and this and that, and like clearly the guy had come to the thing, and I know the guy's name, but I'm not gonna name him right now just because I just but like they're clearly coming to try to plant some disinformation, hoping that we're just gonna like run with anything that we read. And let me just tell you, guys, when we get information, we vet this stuff out really carefully. Like we don't just like run with any internet blather that we're hearing that you're going to come over and post something on our board and that we're just going to go, oh look, this guy posted this. We're gonna do a podcast on it. Like that's not how it works, guys. Like we actually spend time on this and have really good resources, have really good contacts, and have really good information. So if you think you're just going to come there and trick us or something, but that's literally what this is what we deal with, guys. You think this is just some little fun little podcast and a couple of guys yucking it up and stuff like that? No, man, we literally have guys coming and planting misinformation, hoping that we go with it in an effort to discredit us because they want to come back and go, Charlie Baker said that we won fair and square and Nevada got it wrong on this. And it's like, nah, we're too sharp we're hip to the game, guys. We're too sharp for you. You can't trick us. You keep trying, but you can't trick us. But I had to say that before I forgot that.
Oh god, it was so bad. You're like, do you think this guy's? I was
so
like,
bad.
no. I read it and I was like, no, this is some wingding who's hoping that. Oh, I got those guys. They did a whole podcast on my made up thing. And I'm like, dude, like, come on now. Like, I mean, you know how many people reach out to me with stuff and it's like, okay, let's go figure out if it's real or not. I mean, because
exactly.
if it's good, I mean, if it's just some trash, like, I mean, nobody wants to hear that. So it's like we have to vet stuff. We can't do something stupid and go some dumb thing about Michigan that's not true. So it takes a little bit of time, but that's why we're the scoop. Jay Willie 75 next to the deuce. How did the mock scrimmage go Saturday at the shoot? They do what is called a rehearsal scrimmage, generally a week before the first game. It is very light. It is not a full like beat the tar out of the kids type scrimmage. It's a lot of it is just going through kind of the whole this is how we warm up. They go in the locker room. Okay, this is the locker room. This is where your locker stall is. Like, because some of these guys, they haven't been in the locker room stadium yet. You know, like if you're a guy that wasn't here for the spring game, if you're some of these June guys, or maybe if you transferred in over the summer, like you haven't been in the stadium yet. So, and honestly, I don't even know if these guys are in the stadium for the spring game, because there was a time back in the olden days where when we played the Scarlet and Gray game, the Scarlet team would dress in the home locker room and the Gray team would dress in the away locker room. Like with Trust, that's how we did it. So those were like two separate teams, and it was actually kind of cool being on the Gray team because it's like that's the only time you can ever actually see the away locker room, and it's actually pretty nice. It's not as nice as a home locker room, but our locker rooms aren't very nice compared to a lot of teams, which it doesn't matter because you only use it 7 times a year. But they go through kind of the gyrations of this is how we warm up. This is where, when after we do, Mickey Marotti calls everybody up, and this is the part of the field that you warm up at, and this is what we do in pregame, and this is what this is the sideline organization, and this is okay. Let's go punt team. Okay, let's get our subs lined up, and let's they go through every special team. They run some plays. It's not a very violent scrimmage. They run plays. It's kind of like a practice, but it's not super heavy. It's more just making sure that everybody knows where to go on the first day. So Will Howard gets to run the team out there, and they run some plays against the one defense, but it's not like a super evaluative scrimmage. But it's a scrimmage, but it's not like the previous weeks during training camp. At this point, it's game week. The best part about training camp, other than the fact that we are going to pound the rock this year. Chip Kelly, I mean, people I talk to are just like, we are going to run the crap out of the ball. And I can't wait to see it with Quinshawn, and I can't wait to see it with Trey. But that being said, the team is very healthy. After the mad cow disease or the hand, foot, mouth, or whatever it was, that's all shaken through the locker room. So now we've got the crew back. And like I said, I love opening up with, Akron and Western Michigan, 50-point underdogs, because you're going to get to see Teague at right guard, then you get to put Carson at right guard, and you get to get a good evaluation of both those guys rolling through at right guard. And Teague took advantage of the fact that Carson was out for like 6 practices, so he'll probably get the first snap, but I think that will he get the last snap? Who knows? So that's going to be interesting to see. And by last snap, I mean like the last snap of the Michigan game, before we get into the Big Ten championship game. So it wasn't a big time scrimmage, but they run all the guys out there, and they make sure that they do the punt team and the kickoff team and kind of all that stuff, kickoff return. So make sure that they can, everybody knows where to go. So again, it's not a full knockdown drag out scrimmage. So I've never really wanted to get a report from it, just because I've been a part of them and I've played in them and I've coached in them, and it's not like the type of scrimmage that fans would get excited to hear stuff about. But that's just the facts, because it's a very light practice. So it's kind of like getting messages from getting input from like a walkthrough or something. Nevada, do you have anything to add to that?
No, Will Howard, the first team they're sharp guys. They're sharp and they're ready. But like you said, this was more familiarizing yourself with the process and finding the Kirk Barton Memorial bathroom and where that is and where guys go to get taped and how this thing works and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of you got hundreds of guys run out there in the field, like you said, 25% have never been in there before, have no idea where to go, and so here we're gonna do quick cows, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, They just want to simulate the game so that they're not doing it for the first time when they run out there against Akron.
Yeah, you never want to do it for the first time week 1. So that's why literally every school in the country does a scrimmage at their stadium the Saturday before they play, because they can go through, this is where the defense sits, this is where the D line sits, this is where the O line sits, this is where your coach is going to be at, this is okay, punt team, everybody, this is where we line up for the punt team, because they always kind of cluster around the whoever's getting them up, if it's the strength coach or whatever, to make sure that they've got all 11 guys ready to go, and they break out and go out there and hit a punt, and field goal block, they bring everybody together and make sure everybody's out there. And again, you just want to make sure that the kids are as coherent and ready to go as they can be. And there's still always screw ups. That's the funny thing, is like in football, you'll still see, not Ohio State, but teams with 12 guys on the field, or they don't have all 11 guys out for the punt team, whatever, early in the season. So you try to iron those wrinkles out as much as you can during this past scrimmage. Michael Holston, thanks for the 10. Appreciate you, my friend. Identity is a powerful thing. When you tell everyone that you are the leaders and the best, then lose all the time, creates a real problem. This was inevitable. That is very poignant, and I think that you're dead on, because the pressure was mounting. Again, Urban beat him like a rented mule for all those years, and then Ryan shows up and smashes them in 19, and we would have smashed them again in 20, and they ran for the hills. They called in the fake COVID thing, and they said, "Oh, we can't possibly play," so they ran, and they were up against it again. So you got to remember, if you're Jim Harbaugh and you're 0 against your rival, you're brought in to be the new Bo Schembechler, and you're 0 against Ohio State, and you can't figure out Ryan Day, and Ryan's got these tremendous teams that he's fielding with, a potential Hall of Fame NFL quarterback, leading the charge with CJ Stroud. I'm just telling you, if some little guy comes up to you and says, it's kind of I watched Back to the Future 2 last week, and it's just when my mom was in town waiting for this kid, and when old Biff goes to see young Biff and says, "Hey, I got this gray sports almanac here, and if you just bet it, then your entire trajectory of life will change. You won't be waxing cars for a living. You'll be having the Biff Tannen casino or whatever." That's kind of what it was like with when Connor Stallion showed up. It's Jim, you could kind of go down in history as a coach that came back as the savior, and you got dog walked by Urban Meyer and by Ryan Day, or you could do this and you could cheat, and people remember you as a champion, and your program got better, and magically, all the same players got a million times better because of what these guys were doing. The same guys. It wasn't like they went out and got 30 portal guys that were all dominators. It was the same guys that we were smashing. They've never been a good recruiting team for a long time. again, go look at like the top 10 recruiting rankings over the last 7 years, and well, I don't know how many times they've cracked it, but it's not very often. You don't ever see them at the top 5 where it's like us and Georgia and Bama and Clemson and Texas, like those types of teams. So, but magically they got to be really good. So what changed? What was the variable? And again, desperate times calls for desperate Geppettos, and our little Geppetto showed up. Nevada, Michael Holston, again, thanks for the 10. Appreciate you. It says, identity is a powerful thing. When you tell everyone that you are the leaders and the best and lose all the time, it creates a real problem. This was inevitable. What are your thoughts?
Well, yeah, and you look at this whole thing. It was completely consistent with Harbaugh's character. And look, I I respect people that are willing to pay whatever price to win. Like, I get it. That's the essence of sports. The people that are great are willing to pay the price. They're willing to go the extra mile, to put in the extra time, to work extra hard, on their recruiting or on their physical fitness or on their strength and conditioning or whatever it is. I mean, nobody's successful or good by accident. People that are unsuccessful like to look at it that way, and then people go, "Oh, they're successful by accident or it happened." No, people are successful because they work hard and because they outwork everybody else in terms of getting there. But with Harbaugh, he was just up against somebody better. It's like being in a weight. You're a wrestler and you're wrestling against Brian Shoot or whatever it is, and you can't beat him, so you got to cheat, and that's kind of what we had right here with Harbaugh. I mean, so like I said, there's part of Harbaugh's personality that I absolutely respect. His kind of ability to kind of focus on tasks and the single-minded commitment to running the football and controlling the clock and playing great. I mean, he's done it really well everywhere he's been. Almost wanted to win a Super Bowl, so I respect that. But that also can lead you to do crazy things when you're desperate. And I completely agree. This was totally inevitable. It was predictable and inevitable, and not out of character for Harbaugh at all.
Totally agree. Ryan Coolidge, thank you for the 10. Appreciate you, my friend. Can we please plan on banning the letter M on the Scoop form for the week of the game? I'd love to do that. I vote for permaban for anybody that uses it. Must substitute with a red X. I don't know how we would do that. It'd be cool if we could do that. I don't know if there's a way that again, our tech people probably look at us like we have 8 heads. If I say, hey, is there any way we could ban the letter M this week and make it an asterisk or a red X? And they'll be like, I don't know if anyone's ever had that request ever, but that would be very interesting to see if that could happen.
No, they'll be like, Kirk, we can do that. It's going to cost you $100,000. And you'd be like,
and I would be like, sold, done. Nevada, this is gonna make us so much money. Oh my god, we're gonna spend $100,000. We're gonna have to raise the prices up from $12.99 to $13 even, and it'll cover the nut. You'll be like, Kirk, I don't know.
What have you done?
Kirk, I don't know if this our P&L doesn't look quite as good now. He's got $100,000 expense to remove the letter M. Oh god. Ryan, again, that is a great idea. Nevada, do you have any thoughts on that other than it probably will cost us like $100,000 in tech to get done? And
No,
smash me with a cleaver.
We can ask the. I mean, that's got to be doable. I mean, that's just literally like changing a key thing. So yeah, we will check on that, and we'll try to pull that off.
That would be hilarious if we could get that done. That really would. Sub it with the little red X emoji. That'd be perfect. Tom Gombar, thank you for the 5. Nevada, do you think Michigan will settle when they start losing games this season or wait it out? Kirk, congrats on the baby. Thank you so much for that. Nevada OH? What do you think, Nevada? That's a great question. Do you think Michigan will settle and kind of punt the season if they start losing? Because, again, when they see the Texas Longhorns and my boy Quinn Ewers week 2, they are going to get lit up like a Christmas tree because Texas is loaded. And Michigan is not, so they better eat their Wheaties because my boy Quinn has come to smash those boys. What are your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I think it's a great question, and I've always thought that. I think once they lose a few games this year, they're going to try to get. I mean, everybody's trying to. You always try to get through the penalties as quickly as you can. You try to self-impose. So yeah, I could absolutely see that happening. It's just a question. How much have they sold a bill of goods to this fan base to allow them to get away with doing that. And I think the way they do it is they say, oh, the evil NCAA, and oh, we're a victim, but we can't, there's nothing we can do. But no, I think self-imposing that first year penalty, because it's going to be multi-year emphasis on the words multi-year postseason ban. I think it's the sooner you get rid of one of them, the closer you are to the end of the penalty. So I could absolutely see that happening.
Totally agree. Ryan Coolidge, thanks for the 10. Lee's comment sparked a better idea. Replace all M's with an asterisk. That comment was 100% worth another pay it forward. I think that there has to be a way to do that doesn't destroy humanity and the system and the hyperdrive and the space-time continuum. So yeah, I mean, something that seems this easy is never this easy when we deal with tech stuff. But
it never, it's never,
it's never. It's like, oh god, we're gonna have to get like the Terminators to come back from Skynet and build it for us, and it'll cost $800 million to do. So,
God,
we're like, no, do you want to do that? No, we don't. But I mean, there's got to be a way to do that, because I mean, you can ban. Like, we ban swear words, and like when people swear, it pops up as asterisks just because we don't want that filth on our board. So, I mean, I'm sure we could get rid of Michigan. I don't know if we could get rid of like M's. Like, I don't know if like every time there's an M, you put a little star, but I would think there'd be a way somehow. And if it costs less than $100,000, Nevada gives me carte blanche to order it and make sure that it's ready to go for you guys.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's do it. Oh my god!
I love that idea.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna have to order like catheters and like IVs, because I will have to podcast for like 6,000 straight hours to pay for it. But we're gonna do it, baby. We're gonna sit there and you're gonna be like, Kirk, are you still alive? Yes. Is there more Michigan stuff to talk about? Yes. Did we beat Georgia in the national championship game? Yes. But that's what we'll do. I'll podcast until it's completely paid in full. It'll be perfect. Deal Nevada, the longest stream in history is what we'll call it. Let's go. Ninja 315. Thank you for the 5.
Let's do it.
Let's just do it. Figure out a way. What's it like being shunned by OSU for stealing practice film and then make assumptions that other people are stealing practice film? I don't know, because I never stole practice film, so it's really interesting about that. But I know one thing: they needed to lock that stuff down. And I'm telling you, like, the thing about it is that those guys, they learned a lesson. They took it off all the players' iPads after all the Michigan stuff went down. So, I mean, again, it's I always tell people in all these organizations, about half the people aren't happy with how things are going. So again, in the world of sports gambling and in the world of NIL and the world of kids that aren't getting theirs, like, again, like, I'm the good guy. I'm the guy that said, hey guys, better get that fixed. Because again, like, if a bad guy gets a hold of that stuff, it could be devastating. And again, guess what happened? Bad people got a hold of it. So, again, like, it's not... You don't have to be a neurosurgeon to do this stuff, But again, if you have someone with some wherewithal, and again, these kids all have access to that stuff. There's all these computer guys in there that have access to that stuff. And I got news for you folks. A lot of these people that are in that building, they're not going to be at Ohio State next year. They're going to transfer out. They're going to get a job somewhere. People that you trusted, people that you loved. I mean, we just had 2 staffers go to Michigan, for God's sakes. I mean, Aaron Dunston and Tony Alford literally just went to Michigan. So, like, do you not think they didn't have some of that film, like, saved up on their stuff before they left? Because they could do it. Now, again, does that open you up to some stuff? Of course, but I don't know. Like, it's not really that hard to get around that. But yeah, like I said, I think that the diligence is get up, because again, there's this thing called 2-factor authentication. It'd be really good for some people to invest in it. Emil Hernandez, thank you for the deuce. I think that you've got a super chat after that. Let's see. Well, all right, here we go. Sorry if she went over this day joining the chat late, but do you guys know everything we were thinking on the final NOA? Nevada, we've laid out a lot of what's on the final NOA. Is there anything to add?
I mean, no, I mean, the big thing is basically a detailed description of how the whole scheme worked. I mean, that's the whole premise of the NOA is how it worked, who was involved, how it impacted other people, why it was severe. I mean, that's the kind of the essence of the NOA, and you know that's why for Michigan it's so bad. It's such a bad. We knew there was going to be a bad outcome, but you know I think it was really telling when the timing of this whole thing. I love the fact that the NCAA, well, the NCAA, you feel like they're just like they're above all this stuff and they're not looking at the Netflix calendar or the college football calendar, and they drop it 2 days before Stallions thing. They drop it the week of the Michigan opener. This is absolutely the NCAA flipping the double birds at Michigan. And if you're a Michigan fan, that's got to be these guys are the judge, jury, and executioner. There's no other part. This is like going to the Supreme Court. There's no appeal beyond this, and it's got to be a very chilling thing for Michigan fans because they know it's bad. You pissed them off. I mean, it's like what's the whole thing? Don't like you've ticked off the guys that are controlling your fate. That was a bad decision, Michigan. You chose poorly again, and it's a hammer incoming. So buckle up.
Yeah, I totally agree. Mark Pollitt, thanks for the 5. Thanks for the Ultra as well. Saw B. Moses read what Desmond Howard said when we had the tattoo scandal. Never heard that before. What do you think he will say now? Well, B. Moses is killing it, and I'm going to see if I can find this real quick. Desmond
first of all, that was put up by Justin Spiro. We've talked about Justin Spiro before. Justin Spiro is unbelievable. One of the
He's
true
awesome.
Investigative journalist, Michigan State guy, but his Twitter thing is a must read, must follow, and he had it on his Twitter feed, the Desmond Howard stuff, and it's just beautiful because it's timeless and you can read it, and just the hypocrisy dripping through on it is simply delicious. But yeah, if you go to Justin Spiro's Twitter feed, it's right on there.
Yeah, Justin he's great. Oh god, and he got blocked by Desmond. That's even better. Let me see if I can throw this up real quick. I mean, Justin's a guy that I didn't even know existed, a month ago, and he is scoop strong, baby. He is a great dude. Let me get this up here real quick. I gotta show off. That is something to be proud of, man. He got blocked by Desmond, little soft batch cookie, our little buddy. There he is. Like, you got blocked. So scroll over here. So here it is. All right. So the Big Ten used to be about Midwest values, good morals, blue collar, hard working people. What happened at Ohio State? That whole image has been tarnished. The whole image because of us, little Ohio State. There's people at other conferences that are like, wow, what the hell is going on in Columbus and for how long? I'm always happy to see anybody who cheats the system get caught and get out of the game. Again, like Desmond, it's amazing how many people get fired at ESPN and he skates because he's as bad as there is. I mean, and again, like if he was intelligent and he said things that I thought were like, okay, that's pretty good, but I mean, for years, like I haven't heard a single coherent thought out of him on game day, on whatever show he's on, and it's stunning. You know, like they get rid of like David Pollock, who I thought was actually pretty sharp. I mean, there's some guys that are actually pretty good, but I mean, this guy's been. I mean, he's a Major League Baseball pitcher that throws a 65 mile an hour fastball at this point. Like, there's no use for him, but for whatever reason, they keep him gainfully employed. And again, I don't have words, but it's always the most like self-righteous people that end up being the biggest like douchebags and scumbags. And that's like the Michigan folk, you know, and again, and before that, it was the Penn State people, because Penn State people, like when this went down with Tressel, Penn State people just beat us into oblivion about holier than thou and Joe Pa would never. And little did they know that the nuke was coming for them. And what they did was 800 million times worse than anything that ever happened at Ohio State. So again, these people that, you know, when they're holier than thou, the skeletons in the closet, I mean, they would crush an entire continent when they open their closet up and the skeletons just come blowing out of there and just mountains of skeletons. Like, that's what Michigan is. So you want to talk about morals and blue collar, like, I mean, Desmond he's impossible, but Nevada, your thoughts. That was a great quote. And again, I appreciate you bringing that up, Mark. But your thoughts, Nevada.
Yeah, I mean Desmond's what's the term, a useful idiot or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, I respect people on the other side that have intelligent takes, or have thought provoking ideas or comebacks or whatever it is. But yeah, Desmond is definitely a guy. He's a hypocrite, and but he really, to me, represents the entire Michigan fan base, because they're just all hypocrites, and I'd like to believe, and I know, I've been faced with this situation before with other teams that you root for, but like if Ohio State handle this, I'd just be like, guys, let's just take our punishment. Whatever's just, let's take our punishment and move on in terms of doing it. But like, you can't cheat like this. I mean, if we hack into Michigan's helmet comms with our little version of Connor Stallions and use that to beat them, and we get caught, well, man, there's a price to pay for that, and you will never hear me defending that. And yeah, do I think there are degrees to things? Yeah, I think there's degrees. Do I think that Tressel, knowing that some of his already existing players on his roster, so guys that are already there, so this isn't kids we're recruiting that help us give it. These are kids that are already wearing the uniform, are trading trinkets for tattoos. Is that the same thing as advanced scouting, electronic surveillance? No, it's not. All cheating isn't cheating, just like all crimes aren't all crimes. But when you do a crime, you got it. There's a punishment that's involved. But Michigan fans are such hypocrites, and the Desmond Howard thing. I love Justin has been just doing it, killing it, pulling up all these old Michigan fans, all these old Michigan personalities, talking about their old comments when it came to the Tressel thing, and then contrasting with their comments today. And it's the hypocrisy is just beautiful.
Totally agree. Ryan Colich, again, thanks for the 10. We're almost there, Nevada. He is on this thing. I'll keep sending super chats so you can make the M ban happen. Let's go, boys. So we're almost there, Nevada. We're gonna put like a little thermometer up on the every time we get closer to the $100,000 it's gonna take for the tech to move to take the M's away.
We're $99,970 away, guys. We can do this.
We're getting there, baby. What a noble cause. Let's take M's off the site for a week. Let's go figure out how to ban that word. I appreciate you, Ryan. That's hilarious. Ryan Bear, thanks for the 5. Appreciate you, my friend. Chris Drew had a great point. Chris is a great friend of the Scoop. Great guy. He said the camera they found preparing for the Georgia game could have been from Connor Stallions. Very interesting. Well, we had a nugget on that. We literally were the first people to report that they found a camera when they were sweeping, because you have to understand they do practices and walkthroughs. When you go down to a bowl practice, with these playoff games, they come down a few days early and they try to get as much work done at the Woody Hayes as they can. They're not like traditional bowl games anymore, but they do some practices in whatever the venue is, which for this was the Mercedes-Benz Dome. And again, you have to understand, like, I was like baby Woody Hayes when I was a kid and I was a player, man. Like, I was so espionage in my. I mean, I could just when you're at the Mercedes-Benz Dome, which is in Atlanta, which is their brand new, beautiful new stadium, and you're playing the Georgia Bulldogs, and that there isn't a single person in that city that wants you to win. Like, you get very skittish because it only takes one guy to set up a tripod in a suite. And again, these stadiums have hundreds of suites. So, they send a bunch of our guys to go up there and walk through all the suites and check for spies, check for cameras, check for everything. Because again, it's a stadium that holds, 70,000 people. So there's a lot of little nooks and crannies where you could put a camera up and point it at the right place, and magically everything works out great. Like, I don't know if you got guys standing there working the tripod and adjusting it, but you could get something out of filming a walkthrough. Again, that's what Bill Belichick. I mean, they got smashed for Spygate, which was the same thing, filming signals and the like, and filming a walkthrough, and again, it's a big deal. But they found that camera, and again, I don't know what what it all came down to. I think that one of the networks, if ESPN or whoever hosts the college, they said it was some standard camera that was just rolling for whatever, but it was very fishy that there was a camera put on a tripod facing like our sideline just right before practice that was rolling. So again, maybe I'm crazy. Call me crazy. But like, again, like when we played in Louisiana and we had to practice, we practiced at Tulane for a couple days and we practiced with the Saints facility. Like the Tulane practice field was surrounded by like apartment buildings. So like if somebody really wanted to video our practice, I don't know how we'd stop them when there's like apartments all around all around the field, where people could just look out there. Again, does it matter? No. Did I hate that? Yes. Did I feel a lot better in the Saints facility where we're in there and it's literally just us and we're in their indoor facility? Yeah, but again, it's just me. Maybe I'm crazy and paranoid, but so was Woody Hayes, so deal with it. Nevada, Ryan Bear, again, thanks for the 5, says Chris Drew had a great point. He said the camera they found preparing for the Georgia game could have been from Connor Stones. Very interesting. I remember we broke that and people thought we were crazy, and then it got broke. and I was like, well, that's why we're the scoop. Your thoughts, Nevada?
Yeah, I don't. That was a little too sophisticated for Stallions. I do believe that was a something from somebody, but I agree with you. That sounded more like a Southern type of thing down there. But I don't think Stallions was that. I mean, he wasn't like breaking into like the Mercedes-Benz Dome in advance and placing camp. He wasn't doing that. I mean, he was just buying tickets and sending some of the non-pedophiles from the Michigan interning staff down there to do that stuff, and, which was hard to find because there's a lot of pedophiles in the Michigan staff. But no, I don't think that was a Stallions. I don't think that was a Stallions joint, but it might have been. No.
Brian the Gray, thanks for the 5. Stallions lawyer just released a statement saying Connor didn't break the rules. It goes into detail on how he just outsmarted everyone, according to the New York Times. Then you've got a follow-up. The notice of allegation, according to Connor's lawyer, says Connor didn't actually break the rule. There are problems with the lack of cooperation. He outsmarted everyone. Well, that's funny because all of the stringers went to all those games. That immediately breaks the rule. But again, I don't know if his lawyer wrote the statement, if he like drew it with crayons or if he used watercolors or what he used to make the statement. Because at this point, Connor is beyond. I mean, he's Norman Bates at this point. I mean, he's Norman Bates with the knife, dressed up like his mom, taxidermist. Like that's what he is at this point. He's that crazy. He's that psycho. So again, he can put out all the statements he wants. But like when you've got hard drives that go missing, because again, if you didn't do anything, turn in the hard drives. Go ahead, have at it. Go through the forensics. If someone on my computer said, Kirk, you did this heinous crime, I'd say, take my computer, go through the whole thing. You're not going to find anything except for about 6,000 podcast episodes and podcasting software, and a bunch of Buckeye Scoop logins. You're like, oh, wow, there's really nothing bad on here. It's like, yeah. So take it. Connor ran for the hills. They never found those hard drives. So, again, attorneys will literally say anything when they're defending. So, I mean, just be ready for it. But what are your thoughts on that, Nevada?
Yeah, like you summed it up best. The last thing, I mean, attorneys will literally say anything to defend their clients. And Connor didn't break any rules. It's just well, let me tell you, the NCAA feels like and the NCAA is the only one that matters. Michigan keeps thinking that somehow they can win this through. I'm not sure what court they're going to do, the court of public opinion, the court of whatever. But the NCAA is the only one that matters. And Connor Stallions, the idea that he discovered some loophole by doing and defend for me being on the sideline of the Central Michigan game, spying on that. When you're a full-time employee in Michigan, on the sideline, disguised as a Central Michigan coach. Riddle me that. If that was just that should cost him the 2023 season. So that should cost them the national title. Just that. That happened 8 months after they received their first notice of allegation. 8 months. They know they're under NCAA investigation, and they break it again right there. So don't listen to when you lead stuff from an advocate. Remember, he's an advocate, and he'll write anything for $375 an hour, and that's what that guy was doing.
Yes, and I'm sure that the Michigan beat will be like, this is what we're going to cling to. Connor Science's attorney said he did not break any rules at all.
Oh
Even
yeah,
though, like,
exactly.
they've already talked to the stringers who were sitting at the Penn State game, and this is how I sent him the film, and I sat here with my phone like this for 3 hours, and people are wondering, what is this guy doing? It's really weird that he's holding his phone straight in front of him and he's recording the signals for three. I mean, could you imagine holding your phone and recording every play during an Ohio State game? Like, how annoying that would be. People are jumping up, people are going crazy, it's loud, and you're just like that the whole time. Like, you don't think that people around you would be like, man, dude, you can always record it on YouTube TV and watch it later. Like, it's not that it's oh, it'll be on YouTube tonight. And he's just like that. And they did it 58 times. Like, that's like the crazy thing. Ben Easterling. Oh, this is hilarious. I just wrote an app script that will do the M thing. YouTube makes it really easy to integrate. Interested? I have no idea how that would work. And we were going to do it on our website, not YouTube. But I assumed that it could block something on YouTube. Send me an email at buckeyescoop@gmail.com, and we'll talk. I mean, again, it's kind of a funny thing at this point, but we don't really know how to really work the YouTube stuff as much as we do our website. Our website's our home base, so that's where we live, and we have tech people that do that, because obviously Nevada and I don't do anything tech wise because that's just not what we do. We leave that to the professionals. Correct, Nevada?
Correct.
Yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to touch any sort of tech. I'm like, because as soon as I delete one line of script and the entire website crashes, it'll be like, oh God, Kirk, what are you thinking?
I can barely log in, man. You know how I can barely. I do well just to log in myself. Remember my own password.
Kirk, can you read me my password again? Yes. Hang on, let me read your password. Can you copy and paste it into my browser for me? Sure. Whatever you need. Do you want me to heat up your bowl? You want me to heat up your bowl of oatmeal too?
Oh, please. Exactly.
Kirk, can you bet that? God. Can you bet that under 2.5 for me? Yes, sir. Absolutely. I'd love to.
Winner
oatmeal dinner. McLaren 123 1000. Thank you for being an ultra member, and thank you for the 20. Love the show. Burke Carton and Navajo-Buck. I've never heard that before. Navajo-Buck. I have to coin that one. Can't believe it's game week. Your show has been a masterclass in the offseason. Can't wait for watching during the season. Keep up the great work. Well, I'll tell you, like, the offseason is where you earn your money. Like, for us, now it's all downhill, man. We made it to the season. But, man, that offseason, when it's like, February and there's like not a whole lot going on, and but again, this has been the greatest season in the history of podcasting and Buckeye Scoop, and taking us to like the supernova, because we had all these transfers. We had Will Howard show up. Yes, podcast of Caleb Downs. I think we did Caleb Downs 5 days in a row. Will Howard, Quinshawn, Bill O'Brien shows up. Bill O'Brien leaves. Chip Kelly shows up. I mean, Chip Kelly's offense. I mean, this has been the best year ever for podcasting. So again, thank you to Ohio State and transition and transfer portal and NIL and recruiting, because it helps us. It helps. And then on top of that, like, not the cherry, it's like the bottle of Pappy Van Winkle on top of the sundae is the Michigan stuff, man, because it has been, what a ride it's been with this Michigan stuff. But Nevada, your thoughts. Again, McLaren, that's very kind of you. McLaren 123 1000, who's an ultra member. He says, love the show. Burke Carton. Actually, you called me Bark Carton, which I've never been called Bark Carton, but I kind of like that. I think that Bark Carton is a new one. And Navajo, but can't believe it's game week. Your show has been a masterclass in the offseason. Can't wait for watching during the season. Keep up the great work. Nevada, do you have anything to add to that?
Nah, just like you said, I mean, this offseason kind of wrote itself. I mean, every day there was like, like next year, I'm look at this next year, we're like, okay, we need a story as big as Caleb Downs coming to Ohio State. Wow, that's going to be tough. How about a transfer quarterback as good as Will Howard? Okay, we need a Bill O'Brien to come, then clean out his office. Then we break that he cleaned out his office, and people claim that we didn't break that he cleaned out his office, that his office is not broken, and that Chip Kelly's coming, and the Chip Kelly comes. And then on top of that, we need the biggest cheating scandal in the history of college football for Michigan. I think next year is going to be a tough act to beat, but something, we'll worry about that then. We are through the offseason. We are officially into the 2024 college football season. And yeah, I could not be more excited. And we kick it off in 6 days, man. Let's get it on.
Do you remember when somebody actually came at you and said, "Oh, my source says that Bill O'Brien has not cleaned his desk out yet," and I'm just like,
Yeah, I wasn't guessing. Come
I'm
on,
like,
guys.
do you think we have something better to do on a Sunday night than wonder if Bill O'Brien's like Lysoled and taking his? And again, he'd only been there for like a couple weeks, so it's not like he like unpacked everything and hung up his diploma and all that. Like,
dude, remember when we broke that Cal McCord was leaving? That was that dude. We almost broke the internet with that. That was a big one. That was like Cal McCord's leaving. They were like, people were like, "What the heck?" And we're like, "He's leaving. Like Cal McCord is leaving." And it's like,
he is gone.
He is gone, man. He's gone.
No, then we broke Will Howard. That was pretty good.
It was a heck of an offseason, man. It was a heck of an offseason. And now,
people are like,
Michigan stuff. This Michigan stuff is so great. I mean, it's just like it could be better. And I love the fact that the Michigan people, because if the Michigan people just kind of had accepted it, like, you know, it would take all the steam out of our show. They'd be like, "Oh yeah, well, of course we're going to get punished." But they're just going down with the ship. No, oh no, this is nothing. Charlie Baker said we want it fair and square, Nevada. This is we're going to get an apology from them. It was all legal. It was all legal. Connor Stalions' attorney said so. It's been a glorious offseason, man. We'll never top this one. I'm just telling you, we're never going to top this one.
Brad Legree again. He says, "Thanks for the 5." Says the only rule he broke was Central Michigan. All of their scouting was a loophole, and the notice of allegation says as much. Well, I don't know about all that. that's a hell. That's a hell of a loophole. It's like, yeah, I ran out with my hard drives because everything I did was clean, and I found some bylaw that said you can pay. You can pay again, like. When you look at these capers, like Connor Stalions, like, again, I can't wait for the movie. I hope I star in the movie. It'll be absolutely fantastic. Because Connor Stalions, like, literally, let's start a used vacuum company with Blake Corum. Because there was some night where he was sitting in the Schembeckler Hall, probably hadn't showered for 3 days. He's eating, Honey Nut Cheerios for dinner again. And he's like, what could I do to launder money or make some side scratch to finance my lifestyle? Someone said you could sell used vacuum cleaners. Who could I get as a partner? How about I get our starting running back? Let's get Blake Corum. He's like, second or third round pick in the NFL draft. Let's get him. Hey, Blake, I got this great idea. I'm going to call it Blake. Blake Sucks is going to be the name of the company, and get it because you're a part of it, and it's vacuums. You get it. And you're going to be part of the LLC, and you don't have to do anything, but we're going to put your name on it. So it'll just be like straight cash for you. But I'm going to use your name, and I'm going to sell these used dustbusters, and it's going to be an amazing scheme. And again, like, when you look at like the stupidity of this guy, and you see like the homeowners associations coming at him because he's in like a decent neighborhood, like there's nice neighborhoods around Ann Arbor, and he's got like 40 used vacuums like lined up on the porch. I'm just like, I couldn't imagine. Like, my HOA, like if I take my trash out too early, I get a note from my HOA. They're crazy, which again I like it because our neighborhood looks nice. So it's like Connor Stalions has like 40 used dustbusters and Hoovers all lined up around the thing. And it's like, could you imagine being the neighbors and like the HOA? And you're like, dude, what are you doing? You've got all these, and then he's like fighting it. And again, he loves to fight stuff that's really stupid to fight. Like that's like the beauty of him is it's like, it doesn't matter if he could shoot up an orphanage and he'd be like, well, they shouldn't have got in the way of my bullets. I got a bylaw here. There's a loophole here that says you're allowed to do that. And so we're all going to be fine because I'm Connor Stalions and I live in Looney Tuneville, and Norman Bates is my hero because he's just as crazy as I am. But yeah, I don't know, Nevada. Like it's
No, Kirk, just ask yourself this question. Not that we're even respond to the lunatics, but if the NOA said, Michigan, you're off the hook. Your boy found a loophole, and then how long do you think it would have taken them to leak that NOA? Do you think that NOA would? Oh
God, it would have been out 6 hours ago. We wouldn't have even had a show. They said Connor Stalions exonerated, the guy that can't get a job at an inner city volunteer high school, where literally like they can't find 5 coaches for their entire staff because again, it's not a good job. A team that went 0-10 can't hire him because he's that toxic, because he's that dumb, and again. Everything about him and his attitude is he's just completely oblivious to like reality. Like that's where we're at. It's like when you're trying to be a volunteer coach and you've got all this baggage, You've got all these warts, and you're going to get like a flippant attitude with the superintendent of the district who you should be kissing his shoes saying, please let me work. I'll work for free. I just need something to do to get my mind off of this avalanche that's coming for me. And then the guy's like, no, you're not hired. You've never been hired. And he's like, well, I'm going to keep my role as a defensive coordinator because I have not been fired in writing. And the guy's like, you've never been hired. Like, we can't fire you. We never hired you. I'm in the system. So I'm going to show up and do the defensive install tomorrow that I've been working with this team, and go Bears. He actually wrote that to the superintendent. And I'm just like, what? I mean, Michigan hired this guy. They made him $50,000. I'm like, what is the vetting? Oh my gosh. 007, my hero. Eric Sheppel, thanks for the 5. Love the show, guys. You keep me up to date on everything OSU. I get all the Marines tomorrow. Can I get an OHIO? I'm going to go OH.
I-O.
And Semper Fi. Congrats, man. That is awesome. Thank you for your service. I had a lot of friends. Captain of my football team, my high school senior year, went to the Marines, was a great naval officer. He's got a great family. Josh Shemick was my dude. So I appreciate all your service. I mean, there ain't nothing like Marines now. Like I mean, I'm talking about the baddest of the bad. So again, appreciate you, my man. Ken Knatzer was a Marine. He was a coach at Ohio State. I love K-Dog to death. But yeah, those guys are no joke. So congrats on everything, my man. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. If you were stationed or deployed or anything, I hope that this kept you entertained, because I always think about our people that are all over the world, and you know, there's a lot of uptime, downtime, but you know, if you're trying to check it on Ohio State, we try to always make sure that we take care of the vets. That's why we do the paid forward member for BuckeyeScoop.com. So we signed up a bunch this week, Nevada. I mean, they keep popping in, and we keep getting them all set up for BuckeyeScoop.com. So thank you guys for paying it forward. It does make a difference. It gives a lot of our troops levity. We've got retired, disabled veterans that reach out to us, and you know, it's a little bit of a crunch, and we get them signed up because of you guys donating for it. So again, thank you guys again. Just takes BuckeyeScoop@gmail.com. Send us a military ID. We'll get you set up. It's been fantastic. It really has been. Nevada, Eric, he is out of the Marines tomorrow, and he says he loves the show and he appreciates us keeping up to date. Any thoughts for our guy, Eric?
Yeah, no, Marines are no joke. Like I said, my dad was Air Force, and Air Force is kind of like military light. You know, we're Air Force, but the Marines, that's like the real military. So yeah, God bless you for your service, man. And yeah, you guys are the real deal.
Yeah, I love Heartbreak Ridge. Oh my God, that's easily one of my top 5 favorite movies of all time. Eastwood. Oh my God, Gunnery Sergeant. Oh, it's so good. CW, thanks for the 10. With the notice of allegations, do you think will still celebrate the trophy ceremony at their game Saturday? I mean, they might as well. They're so dense, man. It's like they were going to invite Jim Harbaugh back. I'm surprised they didn't invite Connor Stallions back at this point. You know, I don't know who's running the show up there, but if I was one of these big money donors, I'd be like, do you guys realize the reputational harm that you guys have done to the Block M? They probably don't, because they're just that stupid and arrogant. But that's just where they're at. Like I'm surprised they don't have Connor Stallions as the captain at this point. You know, I'm surprised that they don't have him like Sean Moore giving them a piggyback right out to midfield to flick the coin. So, but what do you think, Nevada? Do you think that Michigan will still celebrate? I mean, I think that they will, because they don't care.
Yeah, no, they have to brass it out, man. You have to at this point, man. They got to fake it till they make it. They got to just keep going on. Like they just keep telling when they walk in, they greet each. You know how they greet each other at the Michigan games right now? They say, Charlie Baker said that we won fair and square. So it's just, so that's, I mean,
oh God.
So imagine 90,000 people all doing that the whole game, and yeah, they're going to celebrate because they know it's the end, man. And but yeah, no, they'll celebrate it. But yeah, they should have had Connor Stallions come out and have like the kids dress up like Connor Stallions, have like a float with him on it, and bring him out there. Just own the whole thing, man. Just go down with the ship, Michigan. I'd respect that more than the way you're playing it, but I don't respect you guys anyway, so it doesn't matter.
They should hand out like really cheap like sunglasses with like the little nose and little mustache on it. You know, like hand those out like 100,000 pairs of them so they can wear them. You know,
Oh God, that's so
that
bad. So
that's
so bad. That cheap disguise, but not the shoes though. Can't match the shoes.
no, because then you blow it. If you actually had the same
And,
like New Balances or whatever they were in Central Michigan, then you could rock out. But
and
he
I'm telling you, there was a guy the year before at the Western Michigan State game. Same thing, different shoes. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, that was Connor Stalions at Western Michigan. At Central Michigan was not the first time he did that.
but he found the loophole though, right?
He found the loophole. Yeah, that's why. Like I said, when they found the loophole, they got the apology. That's why Michigan has leaked the NOA. Yeah, like I said, if the NOA was anything good for Michigan, that thing would have been out in 15 seconds. Pete Thamel would have had it in 15 seconds. But
Yeah,
it isn't good. And
no,
even Nicole Auerbach came out with the repeat offender thing and how the NCAA had then amended it to. I mean, when she says that, guys, it's game over. Repeat
yeah.
offender is the worst possible. We've been saying that that's the worst possible case scenario for them. Repeat offender, LOIC, and they got them both.
Yeah, and that's like the funny thing to me is I'm like, guys, like, do you not realize how like once you screw up with the NCAA, I mean, you got to be on eggshells like until that little probation period is done. Where hey, and again, like Jim Harbaugh got a 4-year show cause and a 1-year suspension. So obviously, I know he flew the coop on that, but it's like to repeat after that. And again, Sharon Moore was suspended for week 1, so then to like double down, it's literal suicide. It's career suicide at this point. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. Ryan Coolidge, thanks for the 10. Appreciate you, man. I'm going to go broke. Love you guys. Congratulations on the baby, Kirk. What's the counter at Nevada? 99,960.
$960. We're going. I got a little tally here. I got a crayon and I'm writing this up down here. Okay. We just need come on guys, get behind this. We can do this.
We just gotta like get it to a certain number and then just keep rolling it on Dagestan Poppy's picks, and we'll be there in like 2 months. We'll just keep rolling it, man. Just don't use FanDuel because they suck. DraftKings is way better. So, all right, Nevada, your phone has not melted. You did not die, which is good. Those are both good.
Just great day, great day, and we mentioned several times, but I do want to give a shout out to Dagestan Poppy. If you're not following Dagestan Poppy on Twitter, then you just don't like money. Dagestan Poppy is a great Ohio State fan, best MMA handicapper in the world, and he posts his picks for free. Doesn't even charge you. And if you're an Ohio State fan, send him a DM, and he'll give you the picks before the thing. And he has been on one of the most epic runs for the past 18 months. If you'd have bet like $1,000 in every one of his fights, you'd be up like $175,000 or something like that over time. Just an incredible resource. And I just want to call him out because he's been great. But just a great way to start the week. The Michigan NOA has dropped, and Michigan's been exonerated, guys. Charlie Baker said they won fair and square, and that Connor Stalions found a loophole. So it's a great day for Michigan fans, and I would expect that they're going to be leaking the NOA at any moment now because they've been exonerated, guys. Ring out the bells. We've been exonerated.
Oh,
ding,
God.
Ding, ding.
It's like,
let it ring out throughout the land. We won. Victory.
I mean, wouldn't they leak it to Pete Thamel and every writer in the world if it was some innocuous the NCAA actually issued us an apology for all of the trouble that they've caused us and all of they're just really sorry. Like they're sorry that they got in the way of our spying, and we're actually going to give them 2 national championships. They beat college football and they beat the NCAA, so they're going to get 2 big gold trophies. So two old banners fly with them, exactly. And they're going to fly Jim Harbaugh. They're going to put Jim Harbaugh on the NCAA net jet, and they're just going to fly him out just for all. And they're going to have Connor there too. They're going to have a big Jim Harbaugh statue made, and then they're going to have a real small little Connor Stalions one with the glasses on and the Western Michigan little polo on, or Central Michigan, excuse me.
No, but Kirk, that goes right up there with Jim Harbaugh's flying back to sign the extension.
Oh God,
guys, there are certain things that are just like provably, knowably false, guys. Just know that what you're saying is provably, knowably false. No, you're not being exonerated. No, Connor Signs did not find a loophole. No, the NCAA isn't going to apologize to you guys for this. You guys are getting the hammer. You're getting it bad. It started today, and I'm almost. I'm kind of saddened because I wish the story would go on forever and ever because I do love it so. But it does. We still have gambling cookies and we still have practice footage, so we still have scandals 3 and 4 ready to hit. So maybe this thing will go on for the next 3 years, and nothing would make me happier.
Oh yeah, this thing is. I mean, dude, we've got months. I mean, they've got like 90 days to respond and 60 days for. I mean, we got months of stuff to go. All while Ohio State's going to be, cutting through the schedule like a hot knife through butter. This is. I mean, this is going to be just glorious. So I'm so excited about this. Well, Nevada, any final thoughts? This was a marathon, but it was a very fun marathon. Final thoughts.
But great day, and let's go Bucks. Let's go get Akron, and even if we're big meanies, let's beat them by 80 points because I want us to be big meanies to everybody this year. And let's go. 6 days to kickoff.
I totally agree with you. With that being said, thank you guys so much. A humongous show tonight. It's a huge show because you guys make it one each and every night. And again, we look forward to it. Nice 2-hour long episode. Thank you for all the super chats. Again, the paid forward thing's been awesome. We've signed up a ton of new members over the last 7 to 10 days. They've just been pouring into our inbox. So like I said, we like to vet people, make sure that it's real. Again, nothing major other than just to make sure, that we're getting the right people. Like to thank people for their service. So again, thank you for paying it forward. It's been absolutely fantastic. So that being said, if you guys enjoy this content, please leave us a like, click subscribe, also click that little alert bell. If you want to do something ultra fantastic and awesome, go on your iPhone, go on your gizmos and follow our podcast. You can do it on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Podbean, Amazon, anywhere where you can listen to an audio podcast. Go ahead and just click to download it, subscribe to it. Even if you prefer watching the YouTube show, the live show, it is still a huge help to us for you guys to just download our show, leave us a 5-star review. Every little bit counts, and it literally takes 30 seconds to do. That is something that has made a huge impact. We've seen the uptick in downloads, broke every record last month in impressions, downloads, everything. So thank you guys for that. Again, we appreciate all that you guys do. As I always say, it's a huge show because you guys make it one. And we don't ever forget that. So thank you to the Scoop family for being awesome. Thank you to all of the mods. Thank you to Devin, Akeem, Kim, Sean, and Sean. Appreciate you guys. Thank you to Steely for always being on here. Thank you to all Beth, Karis. There's so many of you guys. I just appreciate all you guys that are on here. I could sit here for probably 30 minutes and just name everybody that's in here every night. But love you guys so much. Again, the show is special. It's different. We're built different on Buckeye Scoop. And again, we appreciate you guys. So again, this is going to be an incredible Ohio State football season. We will have wire-to-wire coverage, bringing you the best coverage in the game. Again, that's why you guys tune in, because you guys want to know what's really going on in the program. That's what we give you guys. So we appreciate you guys so very much. With that being said, thank you so much, Buckeye Nation, and thank you, Scoop family. We will talk to you guys tomorrow at 7 p.m. Chris Carter is joining us. So that is going to be absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see you guys. Get your questions dialed in for CC. Get the super chats going early, guys, because it'll go quick and it'll be a quick hour. So I'll hold them for as long as I can get them. So if you have questions for CC, get them in early, because he's going to be an absolute monster. I cannot wait to have the great Chris Carter on the show tomorrow night. That being said, thank you again. You guys have a great night. Go Bucks.